Hey guys, I'm your host Shaun Saxum. Just want to let you know real quickly, there were some audio issues with the recording when it was being recorded. I'm not going to go into specifics here because I don't want to bore you with the details, but unfortunately this is a little bit less quality than usual. The sound quality is a little bit lower than usual. I think it's still perfectly listenable, but do note that this is probably not as good as my other episodes and also not as good as the future episodes will be as far as sound quality goes. The content is wonderful and it's very, very funny. Hope you enjoy.
I've started recording.
Wait, like now?
Oh my god, it's still
Here's the thing. I thought
5 hours left to record. I could do this all day.
No, here's the thing. I thought he was going to say like start recording or like something like that. Not, but like saying start recording now. Okay, but I thought it was just like a get ready, like start recording now, guys. Like time.
Oh my god.
Alright, is everybody recording? Is everybody currently recording?
I am.
Yes, I'm currently recording.
Okay, I'm gonna count down now. Say 3, 2, 1, and clap at the same time as I do. Ready?
Alright, yeah.
Not 5 and 4. Don't say
You're
that.
going to start with 5 and 4, right?
Yes, I'm gonna start with 5 and 4. Don't say it.
Okay, I'm not going to say it.
I feel like a camp counselor at like a children's summer camp right now.
Don't worry about
5,
it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the 8th episode of SCP Authors Anomalous. Today, we have 4 guests. This is perhaps the worst idea I've ever had. Let me tell you guys.
Possibly.
Okay, today I'm going to go down the line and say your name. Just say hi or something after I say your name. We have 2 returning members. Jackrabbit.
Hello.
JakdragonX.
Hi!
And 2 new people. JackalRelated.
Hey.
And the other one. Jak Mockery.
Hello, it's so good to see you all today.
There's a
This
thing
is after the
here.
Jak Council episode of SCP Authors Anomalous. That's, in other
man.
words, the worst idea I've ever had.
There is
Yeah.
a thing
Possibly,
here.
quite possibly.
There's a
Possibly.
theme on the tip
Just
of my
putting it
tongue.
lightly.
We're reading 4 articles today. 1 from each person except for Jackrabbit because she only has 1, and we already read it on her episode. Go and watch that at SCP Authors Anomalous episode 5. Instead, we're reading 1 about her. So,
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
This is gonna be so much fun.
Oh, I
It
can't
is.
wait.
So much fun.
Okay. So, real quickly, let's get some quick introductions out of the way, just so people know what you do. I'm going to go in the order of the Discord profiles as they show up. JackalRelated, who are you?
I'm JackalRelated, and
There's no pressure. There's no pressure at all.
I write.
Yeah, good job.
I do Photoshop stuff, and I've been here for a while.
Wonderful. Jackrabbit, who are you?
Oh no!
Hi, I'm Jackrabbit_SCP. And I formerly was on TikTok. I'm mostly active on SCP Twitter. I'm about to make the big move to YouTube and a Roku TV channel with NecroKitten and a couple of people to do the SCP Sideshow, where we're going to be making some cool ARG entertaining content and also trying to highlight authors on the wiki and bring more attention to the work to a brand new audience.
Cannot wait. If you want to hear more about that, you should go watch episode 5 of SCP Authors Anomalous.
Yes, we announced it on that episode, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jak Mockery.
Hi, my name is Jak Mockery. Long-time lurker of the Foundation from about 2015. Started writing in about 2020. Have done about three articles on there. I'm also junior staff, a part of the community outreach team. So, yeah, I'm just sort of floating around being a helpful little dibby.
Brilliant.
I usually listen to like the audio on my headphones with like one ear, so like one of my like headphone cuffs is to the side. But every time Mockery speaks, I gotta put both ear cuffs on just to hear his sultry voice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you appreciated JacdragonX. You're quite a terrific sounding individual
Aw,
yourself,
you're
you
too
know.
kind. You're too kind.
I'm too kind.
California.
Listen, I'm just a really great guy all around. All around, everyone loves me.
JakdragonX.
California.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
my
we got
turn?
California, woman, Australia, and this guy. Go
This
for it,
guy.
this guy.
Okay. My name is Jack. I'm currently an SCP writer. Unfortunately, as of this recording,
Sorry.
I'm sorry too, but as of recording, I have 40 pages on the wiki. I don't really do much beyond that, except write, read. I do boxing and stuff too on the side. But other than that, that's all I really do. Famed SCP author over here, unfortunately.
There's a dog outside.
There's a dog outside?
There's a dog outside my recording booth. I can see it running back and forth because my door is made out of glass.
I have a cat.
What's the
next to
dog
me.
doing?
Oh my god.
What the
It's
dog doing?
Oh,
Sorry, I'll be right back. Oh, they looked at me. They waved to me. The dog didn't, so a person did, for the record. A person
The dog
holding the
just-
dog.
The dog just forms like human teeth and smiles at you and waves.
Yeah, its body just slowly stood up on its hind legs and started elongating its body and then waved to me and then just walked away. Nobody else seemed to notice.
When I was waving, it
believe
spoke
you.
to you and just went, hello.
oh, it's just
Hello.
The dog actually
left.
just came in here and like looked me straight in the eye and said, "No one will ever believe you," and then left.
Little does it know, you're talking to SCP authors, and we're like, haha, yeah.
I know the idea for my next
Be written up a
article.
draft, guarantee it.
I guarantee.
I'm gonna check his activity real quick. I'll get back to you on that.
Look at the sandbox; it's already there. Okay, Jack Dragon, don't you also do another thing offsite?
Do I? I don't even know if I do anything on the website.
Oh my god,
I can't remember.
Kaz?
Huh? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm a co-host for your cast. I always forget about that. I always that's like a dark memory. I always block out of my mind. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
You drew me recently, JakdragonX!
It's a sad
Don't
memory.
worry, Jack. I totally forgot I was a voice actor and forgot to mention that.
It's a bad memory. I don't want to remember Rounder House or J Dune like that. That's a sad, unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah, sorry. Jay Dune wrote the shit Yeti. I never want to speak about him again.
No worries. Oh god, the dog has a ball. Dog has a really big ball.
Yeah, dog, yeah.
It's got like a big like bouncy balls you see in like like gyms and stuff, and it's like just rolling around. Oh my god, it's so
Tell him
adorable.
I love him.
It pushed it up against my door. It pushed it up against my glass door and looked at me. Oh my god,
It wants you to play with it, Shaun.
it probably does. Too bad I have to. Too bad I have to be with the SCP office.
Go away, dog. I'm
We're
talking
such
with
a
celebrities.
With the Jack Council, when are we getting a dog episode of the
Yeah.
SCP Authors Anomalous?
Let me
trying
get
to
Kane
break
Pathos
in
Crow on
and
here.
kill you.
Yeah.
The dog
Yes.
is breaking into your house.
Number 15. The dog is breaking into your
Number 15. The dog is breaking into your house. The last thing you want in your house is a dog.
with a
That
massive
just might be
ball.
exactly what you get. On March 11th, 2022, an SCP.
It's actually March 12th because I'm in Australia. I'm
Wait,
in the
is it actually
future.
March 12th?
This
It
was
doesn't
the
get
best
better.
idea that Shaun ever had for a podcast.
Oh
This
my
is
god,
so
it's
good.
March. I thought it was
Okay.
April.
By the way,
guys,
you can also check
come
out
on.
episode 2 of SCP Authors Anomalous if you want to see JakdragonX in another one with that horrible individual Rounder House that he mentioned. I think we can
Yeah.
actually begin.
We can begin.
Okay.
Oh,
Really? Can we?
yeah, no, you're right. Let's start over. I'm not too happy with this.
So, okay, hang on, Shaun. Have you kind of like categorized or sorted out which articles we're reading from like first to last? Like, is there any particular?
I assumed it was in the order of the Discord message.
I thought so too.
Yeah,
Starting
definitely.
with-
I planned
Starting with
that.
5158 and
Oh,
going
okay.
on.
Oh no! Oh, vigilance.
Okay, alright, let's get this started. Let's get this going. Who wrote this? Remind me.
Jackal did.
Admit to your sins.
The Omuno Royal Oil Rig. Yay.
Alright, this is SCP
I don't know what you're
5158.
talking about.
What is the title of this one? Jackal. What is the title of this one, Jackal?
Lacum lacrimarum. Lacum lacrimarum. Some Latin, something.
Something
We're
Latin.
really off to a good
Something,
start here.
something,
Even
something
the author doesn't know their own
fancy.
title.
Because
Brilliant.
it's like lacum lacrimarum.
Michael
Have fun.
McNamara?
Have- Oh, Robert McNamara.
Is there a comment section to this video?
It's
Yeah.
this word. Hold on, let me paste it in the chat. It's
If there's a comment section for this the
Yeah,
SCP
there you go.
podcast, I want people to try and type out that title without any background knowledge.
Lacum lacrimarum. Wow, dang. That was coming. There's a hint. This is top level humor.
wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Article
He took
read?
the words right out of my mouth, and I almost said he took the cum right out of my mouth. And I said that.
Precursor to SCP 721X. Hey, Jackal,
Oh
you
my
want to
God.
start?
Yeah.
Oh,
Start
I'm
with
reading it.
item number and object class.
Oh boy. I have item number SCP-5158. Object class Euclid Adviso. What did I do?
Fancy.
Right!
Procedures. I just keep reading it, yeah?
Yes, go,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay. A 10-kilometer exclusion zone is to be created around the location of the Omino oil rig. Type NSKA fungicides to be sprayed bi-weekly as well to prevent the spread of SCP-5158 to further life forms. Only level 3 plus personnel are allowed access to 5158. Despite this, no personnel are allowed onto the Omino without department standard metal-plated hazmat suits. All personnel that come in direct contact with 5158 are to be scanned and tested for 5158A instances. If they are not present, an isolated 30-day monitoring period for any symptoms will occur. Should any symptoms arise or new spores become found, the area should be quarantined and sprayed, and the personnel should be incinerated immediately. Description: SCP-5158 is a parasitic quasi-fungal biological organism found in the Pacific Ocean. All current 5158 instances are localized to the abandoned Omino oil rig and the wreck of the MV Nerva. 5158 instances appear to grow towards either the nearest food source or another 5158 instance. SCP-5158 appears similar to a thick moss covered in vines, tendrils, large leaves, and arthropod-like legs. Wow. However, SCP-5158 outwardly prefers to use the legs to attack potential prey instead of for mobility. Any animals that 5158 considers as prey will be entwined by the tendrils and then impaled by 5158's legs until the prey is killed. SCP-5158 ingests its prey by use of a highly acidic compound produced by it. However, it has little effect on bone. It is also theorized that SCP-5158 is primarily sustained by amounts of energy derived from light, though this has yet to be confirmed. Approximately every 36 to 48 hours, SCP-5158 widely disseminates both spores and seed pods. The reproduction timescale accelerates if 5158 has access to fresh meat. These spores/seed pods are designated SCP-5158-A. If a 5158-A instance is inhaled or digested by an animal, the instance will feed on the host's internal organs until the host ceases all bodily functions. It will then germinate to create an SCP-5158 instance from the host's corpse. 5158-A seed pods are relatively harmless if they do not contact flesh. However, 5158-A spores exhibit the same behavior with any living organisms. All 5158-A instances are more effective at reproduction in aquatic settings. SCP-5158 appears to have limited amount of sentience. Its origin cannot be determined. Wow, I can't read.
Should we swap? Should we start swapping people?
Yes. This is something I totally should have mentioned, but you can swap to another person at any time. Just say popcorn and then who.
Popcorn, Jack,
Which one?
Dragon.
Oh my
Damn it.
god.
Okay.
JackrabbitSCP.
Item history. SCP-5158 was discovered on August 17th, 2005, after all communication from the Omino oil rig ceased for several days. Several explosions and a flare were spotted around the area a week prior, but its source was unknown until it was confirmed during the discovery of 5158 that both came from the Omino. The U.S. Coast Guard were dispatched to investigate and were the first discoverers of the anomaly. At this time, the 5158 had not completely covered the platform of the Omino. The Coast Guard then notified the Foundation, and by the time a team mobilized and arrived, it was the 18th. The anomaly had completely covered the platform of the Omino. A Coast Guard detachment had investigated the rig and was subsequently killed and digested. Approximately 1.4 kilometers away from the Amuno, the Coast Guard also discovered the RV Sondheim, a deep-sea submersible floating adrift and with deep gashes in its side. The Sondheim had been assigned to the Amuno to assist with problems found with the oil rig at the sea floor. The crew of the Sondheim are as follows. Man, these words suck. Harimo Executive Jean-Marie Kushana. Sondheim pilot Katie Darcy. Deep diver Asbel Thera. What are these names? Radio comms operator Patrick Alderman and mechanical engineer Corvi Pajit. Although the crew recovered uninfected, they were all permanently blinded by an unknown force. According to logs found on the Amuno, the Sondheim was sent to check an underwater blockage that had stalled the rig for several days. Footage from the Sondheim's exploration was recovered as well. The wreck of the MV Nerva was also confirmed to be located under the Amuno oil rig. Popcorn Mockery.
Oh, okay. Addendum 01. Recovered data.
Oh.
Thank you.
You like when he recovers that data for you, JacdragonX? You like that?
I didn't know! I wasn't the one who did it!
Preliminary information. MV Nerva. Excerpt from Encyclopedia of Lost Vehicles, Volume 440. MV Nerva. B-30 reefer ship christened in 1980. Owned by Haramau Corporation. Stores a retractable underwater cargo compartment. Methods of egress include lifeboats and 10 secure launch pods. Created for cold storage of biological items. Condition. The ship was declared lost and assumed wrecked March 1991 after it failed to arrive at port during a trans-Pacific voyage from San Francisco, USA, to Wenzhou? I don't know how to pronounce that. China. Haramau Corp attempted a search and recovery operation that turned up negative. All goods on the ship were considered lost and free for salvages. However, any salvagers that recovered certain goods owned by Haramau were prompted to turn them back into the company for triple the salvage price.
Okay.
And then we've got a log here, right?
And I can't help but notice that there's 5 voices for this. Do we want to maybe each take a part, perhaps?
Can I be
Wow,
Darcy?
Jackal, you sly dog.
Yeah. Who should we be?
We could just go, we'll go in order of the Discord thing.
God damn.
Aldman will be Jackal. Darcy will be Jackie. Kushna will be Mockery. Pajit will be JakdragonX. And Thero will be me.
Okay.
Everybody understand your part?
I am Darcy, the best character I've decided.
I'm Kushna, also the best character.
I will
Well,
also
here.
read the stage notes and stuff.
Alright, cool.
And I'll also read the very beginning.
Cool.
Sondheim auto-generated log. TCKR081020. I'm joking. RV Sondheim, Hari Mail Corp. Crew, I just said them. Recording started.
Radio and logs are up and running, Miss Shauna.
Good. We have no time to lose.
Oh, dive successful, headed down at speed of 10 knots, best character said.
Hull pressure's looking pretty optimal.
Can I ask a question, ma'am? Why do we have to take on this dive so soon? The sun's gone. Which is going to make Thero's job harder. We could have waited until morning.
The stopper's already put us back considerably. Other rigs are still running. This is the most densely packed area in the Pacific for oil. I also feel that this will be important to take care of now, rather than later.
I see, ma'am.
Silence.
How are things going in compartment 2, Pajit?
Okay, so far. Thero's getting suited up. Thero, you wanted to say anything to Darcy?
Anything new?
Not particularly, no. We're almost there, so you should get to suiting up.
Already on it.
That's Thero for you. Classic
Silence.
Thero.
Classic.
We're at classic Thero. We're at depth now. The blockage leak should be somewhere around here.
I'm not seeing anything quite yet.
Thero, you out yet?
Static.
Thero?
Be patient. I haven't got his suit comms up and running yet. Give me a minute. Thero?
Good to hear you, Sondheim.
You out there, Thero?
I'm approaching the pipes right now.
Ooh.
Tell him to turn on his helmet's camera. I can't see anything on the monitor.
Right? Sorry.
What's that off to your left? Look, it seems like it's running into the pipe there.
You're right, ma'am. There's some sort of suction coming from this area. Seems to be a piece of metal stuck there.
Darcy, something's not right here.
Wrong.
Wipe off that piece of metal.
The sensors aren't lining up to their usual metrics. In fact, we're pretty off. I don't think we're near the rig's connection drill part at all.
Man, we might be...
Quiet.
Looks like part of a shipping container. Is that? The container has the Harry Mayo logo on it.
Is there a lot number on it?
0290L331.
Impossible.
What is?
Nova. It's the Nova.
Ma'am, I understand... I almost said Harambe.
That's all.
I understand that Harambe's been looking...
That's all, Thero.
The Nerva, but it's not our business. We're not salvagers. We don't work for Army. How do you actually pronounce it? My brain is just like monkey.
Jackal, your name sucks.
Hermel. Sorry.
Hey, what figures? I was barely out there. Hell, I didn't even see the main Ah!
Hold on. We're up to reeling Thero in now, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Reeling Thero in now.
On the contrary, if you worked on the Omino, you most definitely work for Haramal.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you said we're up to reeling Thero in now, I completely skipped ahead. I'm a dumbass. I'll just cut out my audio. Hey, what figures? Hey, what figures? I was barely out there. Hell, I didn't even see... Oh my god. Sorry. Hey, what figures? I was barely out there. I didn't even see the main pipeline.
And for now, Thero.
Thero, get Pajit for me.
You called?
Mark a what the fuck is that word?
Nabui.
Navbui. Mark a Navbui at this location and send it back up to the Umino.
I'll let Adderman know.
Since you're our new captain, then, ma'am, where are we going next?
Go straight in this direction. About there, yes.
Send the packet off to the Omino. Anything else?
That'll be good. Oh, sorry, that's not me.
Oh, that'll be good.
We were the actual crew? Like, no wonder this was like a doomed disaster. Yeah.
Heading at bearing 279 at approximately 5 or so knots. Darcy?
Sounds about right. Totally. Oh, Pajit, while you're at it.
Yeah?
Reroute power from the spot welder laser to the manual floodlight.
I'd keep that powered if I were you.
Got it. You want Thero to put on the helmet cam?
Let Alderman take care of that.
I'll tell Thero. Kshana's probably asking Pajit now to input some numbers, so he'll probably be busy.
Damn it. What a bitch.
You're still on intercom.
Oh.
Pajit, I've got to talk to you.
Yeah, what's going on?
It's Thero. I think you might have to recalibrate your depth numbers. I was nearly scraping bottom out there.
Really? There should have been ample headspace between the C4 and the Sondheim. It wouldn't make sense...
Unless we were on something.
Unless we were on something, yes. But what?
The MV Nerva.
That ship that was lost?
Indeed. Hold there, Pajit.
Nerva? Why are we going for the Nerva? Darcy, did you approve this?
Thero.
Did you?
I did, Thero. Lay off it, alright?
Okay, boss man.
Pajit, keep the calculations the same, but account for the change in floor elevation, as well as the projected location chart that I gave you.
It should be coming up soon on your left, then. Darcy.
What is it? Sorry.
I don't know, but I don't know. It's just a marker on a map for me.
Lot 542. What we're looking for. what Haramau's been trying to recover for years now. Hopefully it's not too late.
Best character ever.
Sean's messaging me in the middle of the episode.
Get it together!
Now, children, what have I told you about getting on your... What have I told you about getting on your phones in the middle of a podcast recording?
Also, that was a bit ago.
I feel so sabotaged right now. That's not what I meant.
You'll see.
Darcy, you're coming up on it, almost directly in front of you.
I can't see much. It's fairly dark at the area.
Hold it, Darcy. I'm gonna turn the computer over to Alderman for a second.
I keep going straight.
Turned up the forward floodlights to full power.
I think I'm at the area. There seems to be some sort of hole, but it's nearly pitch black down there. What does the reading say?
I can't tell. Death readings are off the charts here.
Start lowering the Sondheim.
Give me a moment, Alderman. Are you insane?
On the absolute contrary, I'm taking every single logical action that needs to be taken at the current moment. You must understand.
Fine. Pajit, keep an eye out on the pressure monitor. That thing gets even a micro tag into the red. You flag my ass, got it? Flag
I
hard.
understand. No, I'm good. Sorry. That's not a part of the actual document.
Sorry, I'm not Australian enough for you. Ma'am, frankly, I don't care what you say. If I hear anything from Pajit, I'm pulling this sub right back up.
So be it.
We're descending now.
Silence.
Dars.
Jackrabbit, please!
Just do it!
I said
Did not go through.
Can
There
you
we
not?
go.
Can you
Pajit told me.
I
Alright.
Pajit told me to tell you to keep a good visual on the hole's walls. He's getting fairly inconsistent values for the instruments.
Get there on manual control for the floodlight, then.
Full power. Power? Full power floodlights coming right up. Silence.
It's... How?
What the? Come up to the cabin, guys. You gotta see this. Make sure to lock the floodlight in place.
Oh, sweet. What in the hell is... Whoa.
That's beautiful!
This is it? What a light show.
Oh, it looks like the boundless night sky. Stars twinkling in droves. Couldn't read that.
Of course. It's not called the Star of the Ocean for nothing.
So this is it. This is what Haramau bankrolled? I can't really tell. Are those crystals?
Not just any, as you can see. And those crystals are exposed to a direct light source. The composition of the crystal leads to the light bouncing around somehow, amplifying the refracted light values in lumens tens or hundreds of times.
I could do a lot with that. Perpetual energy sources? Some sort of self-recharging solar tech, perhaps.
You guys don't get it, do you?
Oh, get what?
Why do you think we're even here right now? There's a reason why Haramau Oil wants this so badly. They're not just...
That's enough talking here. Get back to your positions.
Good luck, Dars.
Gonna fucking need it. Everyone back in place?
At Instros, yep. Thorough's here too.
Comms are alright.
Roger, continuing the descent at previous speed.
Silence.
Darcy, if I may,
What?
I resent your accusations. Just because Haramau and I share the same methods, don't mean we share the same goals.
That's not going to change how I feel about this at all, especially not with your self-serving environmental bullshit. You're several years late with it.
That is a shame. I'd hoped...
Hoped what? I'd understand that a good reason wipes away whatever you were doing. Get out of my office. Get out of the office more.
Same difference.
You're a right arsehole, you know that.
That we could see face to face.
Well, I guess you're right.
Vegeta told me to tell you guys to keep a good visual on outside if you guys can.
Sure thing.
What's going on over there, in the distance? Seems like those lights are moving.
Could be. I don't see why they would, though.
You think so?
We still haven't gotten a good reading on that cavern side. Can't really help you out on that one.
What's the consensus?
It's probably nothing, given the depth. Water currents make the light dance around like that, you know, ma'am?
Yeah.
Silence.
Just a heads up, the sensors are reading that the bottom of the hole is coming up fast.
Send that data my way. I'll start to slow down to accommodate a reasonable buffer.
It's getting brighter down here, isn't it?
Definitely.
Thero, can you point the floodlight straight down?
Won't you two be unable to see anything?
Trust her on this one, Thero. That's bright. That's bright, all right. It's almost like looking at the sun compared to how dark it is usually.
We must be on the shipping crate's main cache. Thero, get suited up.
Wait. Ma'am.
Kashana,
Kashana, it's much too dangerous to use the suit this deep.
I understand how you feel, but it is imperative we collect some samples for analysis purposes. We can't simply leave them here after all this.
We damn very well can. This may be important to you, but Thero is
I'm already suited up and ready, kitty.
But Thero,
Don't worry about it. The quicker we get this done, the quicker we're all enjoying Diego's chili back at the base, eh?
fine. Make it quick, you hear?
I don't have the quickest hands in the Pacific for nothing.
Dumbass.
Static.
I'm sorry about that.
I just don't have a good feeling about this.
I agree. This pit is awfully inconvenient. Or convenient, depending on who you are.
Are we the former or the latter?
We'll see soon enough.
Silence.
God damn it, Thero didn't turn his camera on again.
We're too deep for it to work, actually.
Fuck. How about you, Alderman? Anything from Thero?
Patching is an instant, you know.
Right, sorry.
I'm hooked up. It really is a light show out here. Tons of these crystals as far as the eyes can see. On the bottom, anyways. The wall ones are totally out of reach. I could grab these things by the handful and bring them in that way. At least... Huh?
What is it?
Bones. Some kind of bones.
Are they human?
I can't tell for sure, but I don't think so. Some poor sea creature turned lunch, I expect. Sure are a lot of them, though.
Is there anything else?
Anything else? Not that I can see, at least.
Just grab a couple of the crystals and let's dip. Let's not spend any more time here than we need.
Sounds great to me. Maybe it's...
Thero? Thero, are you there?
I'm not picking him up. He's not connecting.
Khajiit, pull him up now.
On it! I'm having trouble with the automatic retrieval system. Ackerman, help me with the manual relay.
Silence.
He's in.
Fuck, stay here, Kashana. I'm gonna go talk to him.
Understood.
Silence. Loud rumbling. Scraping.
Darcy, what's going on back there? The doors aren't opening.
Jesus, Kashana, it's a fucking death trap down there. Those crystals on the wall.
What is it?
They're not crystals. They're fucking eyes or something's eyes.
Eyes? It evolved?
That's why the wall readings were inconsistent. It's because whatever it is that's down there is down here with us was moving.
Scraping.
I'm pulling the Sondheim up.
Quicker, goddammit.
It's not working! The thrusters are full, but we aren't rising! Oh my god, there's vines at the window.
I have an idea. Face the window. There should be an orange lever to your right. Push it down counterclockwise to override the power limiter.
Thumping.
It's down.
Turn around 180 degrees, press the green button on the third row from the top. After that, press the button immediately above it. The monitor should display a run executable.
What do I type in? Hurry, it's battering the window!
Activate space, welder space, 999, then hit center, enter. Yeah! Words are hard. Make sure it's pointed at the crystals.
Cracking.
It's done!
Yelling.
Close your eyes.
Screeching? 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 Recording ended.
Oh,
Nice.
Wow, yeah,
Oh,
regular
nice.
Magnus files over here. God, incredible audio
Right.
drama work, everybody.
wait to go, guys.
Way to go. everyone.
Voice acting was
I
actually
don't-
pretty good, to be fair.
I don't think there was one person who didn't pause before a line because they forgot they were supposed to be speaking.
100%.
No, I was pretty on it.
No, you're right.
pretty on it. I was pretty on it.
I was
pretty
pretty
on it.
on it.
Is this the part where we talk about our experience here today with this article?
Yes, it is. However, I first want to point out, Jackal, I've noticed that you left blank in on one of the silences as a speaker.
Yeah,
I
did notice
did,
that.
and I can't remember now if that's intentional or I screwed up, and I'm worried.
just double down
I'm
on it.
pretty
Be like, yeah, artistic choice.
No, I'm pretty sure that it's not. Like, all of the other ones are, like, hyphenated and they're, like, all caps. That one just says blank. It's all lowercase. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
I
it's a
see
fuck
it.
up.
Yeah, I think the one intentional one is the one right at the end where it's just hyphens
Oh, does
Yeah.
it say that?
and it's voiced.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Cool.
So, Jackal, tell us about this article.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I actually think this is one of my weakest articles, or
Uh-huh.
it's one of my weakest exploration articles, just because I think the exploration, how do I put it? Like, well, I feel like something like, I don't know, like 5-4-20 or 50-50, like, I give you at least some more time to get into the characters, and the exploration is slightly more relevant, but this one, it was, like, a lot of information to put in one log, and I was trying to make it a shorter SCP, because I didn't want to put 5 or 6 different logs in there. But yeah, I think it probably would have done better, or it could have been better if I had just separated it out into a couple logs. And it was just a case of one of those things where I think it was the Sid Meier syndrome. He coined it from his game, Covert Action, where it's just too many distinct things. And I think because it talks about the nerva, it talks about the spores, and it like goes into the crystals, which is it's pretty. They're very distinct. So I feel like cutting down on one and just focusing on 2 max probably could have done it better. So I mean, it's all right. It was actually inspired by a couple different stuff. There's this game from a long time ago, Flash game. I think it was called like No One Lives something, but it was about a game where you were playing as this like a security guy, and there was a fire in a building, and you had to rescue these 4 people. And it was like a branching storyline, and this originally was gonna have a branching storyline, but it was just so much work, and I tried it out, and it wasn't the experience I wanted it to give. So it had a couple other experiences. It was also inspired by Obnautica, at the Valley of the Wind. A couple of the names are, I think, like direct references to that, and just the whole nature vibe-ish type deal, and there was like a sea of toxins, I think, as well. So it was just a bunch of stuff, and it's a bit unfocused, probably one of my weaker articles, but like it's not terrible. Like, I think I've done worse. So
Fair enough.
Reading it all together with you guys, even though it was floppy, it was fun to read.
It was fun
Yeah.
to
It
read.
was
I will say that I definitely think if it was actually a lot shorter, it'd get to that point. Like, you're very right that all the characters are pretty distinct, which
Yeah.
typically would work. But I think the focus was less on the characters and more so on what was happening. And I think there was too much focus on the characters and the interactions, and it caused it to drag a little bit, I will say. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy the reading or anything, but I think there should have been more focus on the Nerva itself, because we're introduced to this ship, but we have no idea what it means. Like, I don't necessarily understand its sole purpose, but that's just my opinion.
yeah.
You definitely got me like weirdly emotionally attached to the characters fairly quickly, and so like when the tension was building there, yeah, if it had been a little bit shorter, like I can agree with that there. But yeah, good job writing that last portion though, at least, because I was just like, I think I like these people. I hope we'll get out of this okay.
I do think the dialogue is pretty good. Like, usually for longer logs like that, the dialogue can typically get shaky. So good job on the dialogue, even though, like I said.
I feel like I particularly resonate with feedback provided by Plague on this that says, Like it definitely is very reminiscent of 80s or 90s slow burn horror stuff.
Yeah.
But also that so Plague said, I do wish there was more, but what's here does a suitable job. And I agree, I really like what's here, but I do wish there was a bit more exploration, because it does feel very much like a first act, if that makes sense. Like it feels like they've just stumbled upon this, and then it just abruptly comes to an end. I think it'd be cool if there was a lot more drawn out story regarding exploration of this.
And if you consider this to be one of your weaker articles, now I'm like, oh, I need to read some more Jackal related.
Yeah, precisely.
This was fun for what it was.
I literally have all of like 2 good articles though.
If you were to rewrite this, what do you think you would change?
Funnily enough, I'd actually I did just the oil rig, and okay, so I'd either I'd get rid of the oil rig and focus on the Nerva and the log, and I'd probably do that, not exactly where I had it before, where it was just like a split timeline, but just do a standard, longer, more drawn out exploration, and probably just keep the same characters, because I think, like, I didn't kill them off, but definitely just after this log and then going to like a new MTF or something would be like, it'd be pretty jarring, I think. So probably either get rid of the rig or get rid of the Nerva, and then just have that as location, set it underwater in the Sondheim, and just extend it out. And because I know, is it the Fish Council that's doing that underwater horror stuff? Because we don't have an express amount of that. I know Tower B from Hippo is really, really good underwater, like, rig type horror. So just definitely go straight into that sort of vibe, because I know we don't have a lot of that on site. Yeah, but definitely trim it up a bit. Probably change the anomaly as well, because as cool as like this fungal like growth that just stabs people to death, it's definitely hard to see the connection. There is one technically, but it's definitely hard to see it. So I just make it, I can use that for something else and just make it more relevant to the underwater creature with the crystals, and just tie in all those details, because it was just too many different ideas trying to smush it all into one thing.
Alrighty.
Are we moving on?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right. Yeah, I will say, if that's one of your worst works, you must have some very good stuff. I enjoyed that a
precisely.
lot. I especially really liked the dialogue.
Yeah, that is significantly better than my first article, which is like, again, like pretty bad. Like, yeah, it's great. It's so good.
Sorry for the late response on that, by the way. I doxed myself by accidentally opening a new tab, which has my university's homepage on it. Because, yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to get familiar with the blurring function in editing, aren't you?
I know how to do it. I just muted myself and told myself, "Hey, you just dox yourself. Fix it, please."
Did you open up 173 porn accidentally last time when I was on the
Yes, I did. That did happen. I accidentally opened my tab that had a bunch of 173 porn.
We're looking at ring designs, and we're like, oh, not the redesigns we wanted to see.
Yeah, not the redesigns we wanted to see.
I know exactly what Google search I'm going to make now.
Who wants to?
What?
I'm not interested. No, I don't want to see that. Anyway, it looks like
okay.
the next
I
one
actually,
is...
real quick, I think I'm gonna add that one widget that makes it so you can see who's talking when, because there's a lot of people in this call, and I want to make it not confusing.
That's
I'm also looking for that. Okay,
but we're also
cool.
distinct.
Yeah.
We're so similar.
Okay,
but
looks
so
like I actually have
distinct.
to be in a server to do that, so that's fun.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
no for next time.
Hi, kidding.
Don't
do I
you?
have-
It's like a reflex now. I'm sorry. It's like reflex. Every time someone says I'm something, it's over.
Oi, crikey! I'm Jak Mockery. I'm gonna.
Now listen, mate. All right, we don't like to be
Look,
offensive to Australians.
Alright, do me a favor.
Alright.
Join that server I just sent and go
What are
to
you
the
gonna
voicemail.
do? Dig straight down, pop out of the other side of the world and kick my ass? What are you gonna do, Jak Mockery?
Everyone, join. So, did you see the message Shaun just sent through
Yeah.
Yeah, go and join that.
Join that, and then
Okay, go to the voice channel. then.
There's a gun.
now everyone go to the voice channel.
Hello.
Nobody got it.
Oh, Rip, where's Jackie? We love Jackie.
Oh no, Jackie.
Jackie?
Jackie.
She's still not here. She's not even on the other one. She's just not here.
Jackie!
Why is she still not here? Oh my god.
Here we are.
You can't do this to me. I'm old.
There we go. Welcome
Have you never
back.
joined a voice channel before?
Not that
This is
fast.
this is going after the credits. This is the blooper.
Oh, trust me, almost all
Scared
of
the
this is
shit out of me.
I'm sure.
There's going to be a blooper reel for this episode, 100%.
The blooper reel is the episode, trust me. I don't
We're all the
blow a
laughing
lot of stuff up,
stocks.
believe it or not.
You can dance if you want
Okay.
to. Sorry.
Leave your friends behind.
I don't know why, but the only knowledge I have of that song is that it was in a PewDiePie video once that I watched when I was a kid. When I was a
It
little
wasn't a
dibby.
PewDiePie video. I know exactly
a
what
little
video.
divvy.
Yeah, when I was a little dibby. Little
Oh my
dummy.
God.
Stupid child.
Okay, sorry, I'm fiddling with things real fast. I'm almost done.
How dare you, sir, fiddle
I
with
know, I'm
things.
terrible. I'm simply horrible.
Awful shit.
Awful fiddler.
I don't think last night was a good time to post a new article. Now that I'm looking at it.
I thought you could say something wildly different. And it's-
No.
Jack, where's the
Honestly, it's
Cha Real Smooth article? I'm still waiting for
I
that.
know. I need to get to it.
I
Look,
donated $69 for that.
I was a joke. I can't believe someone actually did that. I have to read.
Whoa,
now I
oh
have to
no, what
write it.
happened?
Believe
Also,
it, Naruto.
when Sherm did his stream for what charity was that again?
It was from
Yeah.
LGBTQ.
Basically, he said like so if someone donates $69, JacdragonX will have to write a Cha Real Smooth article, and I, completely unaware of this happening, just was like evaluating my savings to see how much I could donate, and I was just like $69, and I just sent in $69 randomly.
Funny number.
And they thought I was making fun of Jack because my name is Jak Mockery, so they thought I was making a mockery of Jack. $69 for him to write a
Seven-layer
Cha Real
dip.
Smooth article.
Oh my god.
It's a 3D moment. So good. So like Shaun was telling me about it. I'm just like, what the fuck is this Cha Real Smooth article you're talking about? And he's like, you don't know? I'm like, I don't know. What happened? And he was like, let me explain. And
Trust me, it was bizarre to get that PM from Sherm saying that I need to write a Cha article. I was like, "Are you kidding?" It was even weirder when he told me the name and it was Jak Mockery, and I'm like, "Oh God, of course."
that fucking bastard. That piece of shit.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
oh, we left the links in the other server. Which one's next? Hold on, I'm just gonna copy it over.
56, 54.
5654 or
Yeah, there it
Yeah,
is.
oh god.
Yeah.
Who's the dumbass who wrote this?
Oh man.
Jak Mockery.
Who is the scumbag?
All right, mate. Today we're looking at SCP-5654. It's got a
I'll be
rating
back.
of plus 38, which means that it's not complete trash, but
Oh,
it's not too good either. It's a pretty short article of about 1,500 words, if that. Let me do a double check real quick. I don't think
Is
it's
this the
even
one
that
that's
long.
in Markhaven, Indiana?
No, because
No.
that was a collab, and
Okay. Because
Yeah.
cool, though.
I'm gonna dox myself somewhat. I'm from Indiana, so I'll have to read that.
Yeah. It's a, it's a
Haven was
nice-
like 50-50, but better.
Oh
What's
God!
50-50?
Jackal's cold post for 5Con
Oh yeah.
for SCP 5Con.
Uh-huh. Oh, well, that was because we had like 4 people working on Markhaven. Like, I just sort of like kept whispering, so can we have interview logs and can we voice act for them? And specifically, can I voice act for them? And so yeah, a fun fact about that is that not only do I play 2 characters in that article, but my friend plays one and my mother plays
Aw.
my mother plays a character. She did some voice work because she used to be a big theatre actor around my home city. And she was... And so I just said, hey, Mum, you used to be an actor, right? And she's like, yep. And I said, you want to voice act in an article? And by the time she finished reading it, she was like, Jack, I'm gonna just real quick. What the fuck am I reading?
And that was the day I had to explain to my mom what SCP was.
Right?
She knows now. She's so
I'm
like.
sorry
I'm
for
so
your
proud
loss.
of you, son. That 5654 article was real good.
I'm sorry for
she-
your loss, Mockery.
Yeah, that's pretty funny actually. That she actually likes this article that we're about to read.
Nice.
So fun.
I love this article.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Wonderful.
I think it's a nice little one.
It's nice.
I don't think I've read it before. I'm excited though. This is called One More Battle Before the Curtain Call. The title is SCP-56.
Yep, one more battle before the curtain call.
Alright, would you like
Right.
to get us started, author?
Sure thing, and I'll probably remain reading because I just love reading this article. 'Cause
Okay, fair enough.
I love how
love
much
that.
work I've done on it. Anyway,
Yay.
So explain what the
Here.
object class means before you continue. by
Yeah,
the way.
making up
object
words
class of-
over here.
the object class of Ticonderoga already has existed before. It is it designates an anomaly that is not contained but does not need to be contained.
Brilliant. Go on.
Yeah, I should probably add a footnote in there sometime, but honestly,
Meh.
I'm too lazy.
Meh.
Why explain things to people?
Meh.
Anyway. Item number SCP-5654. Object class Ticonderoga. Special containment procedures. The O5 Council and the Ethics Committee have deemed SCP-5654 unsuitable for containment. Foundation neurological experts are working with agents embedded within global medical establishments to isolate instances of SCP-5654 for minimal exposure. Description: SCP-5654 is an anomalous hallucinatory phenomenon affecting those who suffer various memory-based cognitive disorders. Individuals affected by SCP-5654 are diagnosed with disorders including, but not limited to, Alzheimer's disease, Huntington's disease, Parkinson's disease, chronic and emotional stress, or Korsakoff's syndrome. SCP-5654 typically affects subjects residing in establishments where regular social interactions are minimal, most commonly manifesting in assisted living facilities or medical establishments. Once affected by SCP-5654, subjects will begin to hallucinate a performing vocalist, the form of which appears to change depending on the subject's age and era of birth. As of the 23rd of December 2021, the most commonly reported form of this phenomenon is that of a singer, referred to by subjects as Mr. Benny. Cognito-mole testing of affected subjects has revealed that SCP-5654 is a human male, wearing a white turtleneck sweater, dress pants, and polished black shoes. The color of its skin and the language in which it speaks and sings is noted to change depending on the subject's nationality and personal preference. When the hallucination begins, subjects will perceive SCP-5654 across from them, usually in an elevated position, speaking directly to them through a microphone, and will state that the song is dedicated to them. SCP-5654 will then perform a song to the affected subject. The song performed is an original composition that typically references meaningful moments in the affected subject's life. SCP-5654 will then thank the subject, and, should seating be available in the environment, sit across from them, and will begin to engage in conversation. SCP-5654 has demonstrated telepathic capabilities when conversing with subjects incapable of speech. When enough information has been gathered, SCP-5654 will then attempt to verbally inspire the subject, urging them to fight one last battle before their curtain call, and the hallucination will end. Following this, subjects become lucid for enough time to complete a small personal task. It is noted that memories of SCP-5654's performance show an anomalous resistance to memory degradation. Subjects will recall the song for the rest of their life. Addendum 5654-1. Compiled below are completed notable event logs of subjects affected by SCP-5654. Further logs are available upon request. Event 5654-12. From 1546 to 1557, Mrs. Carmen Hawkins, known for aggressive outbursts as a result of her condition, becomes docile for roughly 11 minutes, cheering and clapping to an unheard song. Assisted living facility staff note the change in behavior. 1626. Mrs. Hawkins dresses in concealing attire and follows a leaving family out of the assisted living facility, successfully escaping. 1634. Mrs. Hawkins successfully boards a bus and travels to her family's home suburb of Redacted, Ohio, traveling 64 kilometers. 1704. Mrs. Hawkins is discovered by her daughter Lucille in her backyard, sitting with and petting the family's pet cocker spaniel that had formerly belonged to Mrs. Hawkins. She notices Lucille and begins to converse with her. Lucille begins to cry and embraces her mother. At 1835, Lucille transports her mother back to the assisted living facility. Additional notes. It should be noted that assisted living facility staff and the family doctor both observed improvement in Mrs. Hawkins' behavior following the event. Occasionally, she could be found playing the piano in the social room of the facility for the other residents. Event 5654-21. From 1039 to 1059, Mr. Giovanni Ferrarini, having been in a coma for 8 months prior to the event, regains consciousness in the intensive care ward of Redacted Medical Center, Italy. Mr. Ferrarini is unresponsive to medical staff's attempts to interact. Staff note Mr. Ferrarini smiling. From 1131 to 1146, Mr. Ferrarini, during absence of medical staff, rises from his bed and walks toward his hospital room's bathroom sink with a porcelain cup, and fills it with water. Mr. Ferrarini then walks towards a dying garden fern gifted to him by his family before his hospitalization, and waters it. Mr. Ferrarini repeats this activity for 15 minutes. 1147. Mr. Ferrarini finishes watering his plant, then lies down on his bed, smiling. At 1704, Mr. Ferrarini utters his final words. "I have won, Giuseppe." At 1710, Mr. Ferrarini passes away. Event 5654-01. At 1219 to 1228, Mrs. Deirdre Bishop is visited by her son, James, at an assisted living facility. Mrs. Bishop remains anxious throughout the conversation. After 5 minutes, she calms down, but is absent to James's attempts to converse. At 1308, James begins to leave the assisted living facility in frustration, having failed many attempts to converse with Mrs. Bishop. Before he can leave, Mrs. Bishop rises and grabs his arm, stopping him. Mrs. Bishop embraces her son. At 1309, James begins to cry as he holds Mrs. Bishop. At 1354, James leaves the assisted living facility. Additional notes. It should be noted that both Mrs. Bishop and Robert Urquhart, James's father, were absent for much of James's early life, with both serving in World War II. And that's all she wrote.
I love that one so much.
I dare
I
not
love
interrupt the Australian person speaking.
I know, you could have let someone else take over the reins for a second. You didn't have to
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that one so much.
It reminds
I
me
really
of,
do.
It reminds me of that Napic article.
The what?
The Napic article. You are loved.
Oh.
You are loved.
Hang on.
I'm not sure I've read that one,
Hang
but
on.
yeah.
I really like it. That's one of my favorite
yeah,
articles. Is You Are Loved.
It reminded me a little bit of SCP. Is it 4999? That's the man who comes to you with a cigarette on your deathbed.
I got a lot of comparisons in early drafting.
Yeah.
That's why it's changed so much.
I still think that it's very set apart from it though. It gave me that similar feeling of really at ease and kind of at peace about being at the end of one's life. But it's even. I love it. I think that it invoked that emotion, but it was still very different on its own. And I have read some of your remarks in the discussion, so I know that this was kind of personal for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'll probably have to elaborate on that real quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I wanted to write an article on memory affecting diseases because my grandmother suffered from dementia, and it was kind of difficult to watch what happened. Basically, I was really young at the time, so I didn't really understand it. And looking back, it's kind of more tragic when I think about it, that I totally didn't know that she was suffering from this. I was really inspired by works like Caretaker's Everywhere at the End of Time album and the 2021 film The Father. And I sort of was like, I really wanted to write an article about it. So initially it started out like really stupid. It was supposed to, I was trying to say that I initially saw this without the respect it deserved in terms of like making dementia the anomaly as like some sort of like, it's some sort of true vision given to some people where they see the world for what it really is. And that's just kind of trivializing it, I decided. And I just wiped it out early. Then just didn't touch the draft for literally another year. And then on the 23rd of December, I started back at this one, which is literally, I put it in the file as sort of like a little reference to, haha, this is when I picked it back up. But the whole concept was just like, I was trying to remind myself like stuff that made my story sort of special for people who have relatives suffering from this. And I remembered when there was a piano at one of my grandmother's retirement homes that I would play for her, which like instantly made her happy. When it comes to these disorders, apparently music is like something that people tend to recognize. And I heard a lot of recounts about people always forgetting a lot of things, but there was always a song that they remembered, something familiar. And so I got the idea of hoping that, because when I played the piano for my grandmother, it wasn't just her that was happy, but every other resident would come out.
Yeah.
And I think one of the greatest things is when I'd finished playing the piano and then this other old lady, after I'd finished, got onto the piano and started just fucking shredding it. She went wild. She was so good. Like, she literally was like playing jazz in the middle of this retirement home. It was so lively.
I love that.
Yeah, it was so great. And I was just like, that's the Carmen Hawkins story. Like, Event 5654-12 is that additional note is meant to be that old lady, because I just remember that strikingly.
I love that.
Yeah, but I just really, like, this article exists sort of as a hope of, like, I wish everyone who suffered from this terrible shit, that they had someone to sing a song to them, to keep them, to make them feel safe. And that's the article.
And I like the addition of, and then they go on to do one more thing. Like, it's not just like they get to like hear that song and then they pass away peacefully.
Well,
I really like the addition of like, and I'm gonna go do one last thing.
It's a call to arms. It was really inspired by like World War II singers who like called people to arms and stuff. And
I'm all about that.
So it was like I was given the idea, like they said, so in the early draft, someone said, this is a bit like 49.99. You need to separate it a bit by making, like, I'd suggest maybe a call to arms or something. And I thought, that would be cool. And then I geared it specifically towards like veterans and stuff. And then Fabled Tiefling, who was a fucking legend, suggested, why would you just like keep it to veterans? That makes it less relatable. Open it up. Everyone suffers. Like, every person, like any person can suffer from this. Just make it more relatable. And there was initially a self-insert in here where I sort of made like a reference to how the first instance was my grandmother, but I scrapped it because it was a bit clumsy, and also there's enough references to my experiences in here that I get personal closure and it doesn't disturb other people's reading of the article.
I think with the SCPs that have anything to do with family or coming from some sort of family experience, usually less is more with that information, because your reader will kind of like fill in the blanks themselves with their own like family experiences and become like emotionally attached to the article for like brand new reasons. So you really nailed it on this. Like, I was like emotional the first time I read it. You really nailed it.
I'm really glad. There's like this one discussion post that I got that just made me think, I did it. Which is when Iluna Razum commented, my grandfather's few moments of lucidity were while listening to Sinatra, and goddamn if this didn't hit on exactly the same nerve. Yeah, and I was just like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
Well done.
But again, I'm really super happy with this article now. It's in a really great spot for me. I think this is like the only article I don't plan to touch for a while. Obviously, if I could rewrite it or change anything about it, it would be to expand on the event logs, add more stories. That's it.
That'd be fun.
would-
I would read those all day.
Yeah, I just thought 3 was the magic number. I thought 1 that was sort of bittersweet a bit, with a bit of comedy, like Mrs. Hawkins dressing in concealing attire and following a leaving family out. I just thought that was so fun and goofy, but something that has
Like, you
actually
go,
happened.
girl.
And you want to know what to say that's actually happened? Because my grandmother did it.
Oh yeah.
She didn't get to a bus or anything, but she got out somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
You go, Grandma.
she was
Granny's on the move!
several times. Yeah, Granny's on the road.
I love
Legend.
successfully escaping.
Yeah,
Legend.
yeah, successfully escaping. Yep.
Legend. I
I
love
just
that.
imagine her playing that Tim Curry sound clip where he goes, "I'm escaping."
Yeah.
Get me to where no.
To the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
Space. Oh,
Hey, fuck capitalism. Am I right, Jak Mockery?
Capitalism. Yep. Fuck capitalism.
We have a long-running joke about Jak Mockery. Oh gosh, because Shaun, we were talking about Corgo and all the tier lists last episode. Jak Mockery and I became friends because my Corgo tier list, I made everybody decorations on a Christmas tree, and I didn't know Jak Mockery very well at the time, so I described Jak Mockery as a Christmas tree ornament that I bought last minute at Walmart.
Yeah.
Which Jak Mockery was like, oh, okay, I guess. And then I changed it. I retconned it. I'm like, you know what? No, I saw you and I shoplifted you. He's like, oh. I was like, I put you in my purse and I said, fuck capitalism. And he's like, Agent Jackrabbit.
I can't wait for Christmas this year when you remake the tier list, and then there's just a tier that says shoplifted because fuck capitalism and Jack.
Yes.
Is like the sole
Just
occupier. Yeah.
The highest spot of honor.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Super cool. I
I sucked
love
up
this
more
article.
time than I thought with that article. Wow.
I will say one detail I really like in the last log, how the times go from 1309, where James cries as he holds Mrs. Bishop, and then it goes to 1354 when James leaves. Like, there's a lot of time that passes in between there. It doesn't say specifically what happened, but we can kind of confer that they actually got to, like, have a conversation, which is really nice.
Yeah. So that's sorry, one more interesting fact. I swear this will be the end of it. But 1556-54 is sort of an ideal sort of situation between my actual grandmother and my father, because people with dementia tend to villainize people close to them sometimes because they need an explanation for why things are so non-understandable. And unfortunately, that was my dad, her son. And there was a lot of... it was a bit hard for him to deal with, so it was sort of like a here's to you, Dad-ish type of deal.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So that's... And, yeah.
It's so great, buddy.
Yeah, I love it.
Anyway,
All
it's a
right.
goofiness. What the fuck are we doing crying?
I know.
Okay.
I swear I'm not sad.
Crying all over the Jack Council table right now.
Well,
I can't wait for this episode to go out, and one of the fucking the talented folks over at SCP Twitter Artist Corporation to decide they're just going to draw the whole Jack Council fucking in tears.
Just falling.
Yeah, yeah, we've been
crying,
falling,
you're crying.
bawling our eyes out.
We're gonna need like a four panel like of a summary of each article. So for JackalRelated, it's just all of us going line.
Yeah, lion.
Second one, we're just bawling, and third one, well, I guess we're about to find out.
it's just
Yeah.
4 of these in a row.
This
I
is
will
JakdragonX,
say,
right?
I will say that I think this article would benefit a lot if there is one person reading it. It's a very personal Like in universe, it's very personal. It's really about one person in their relationship with someone. So if anyone wants to just read it, if they just want to take a shot and try reading,
I don't know. Are people tired of my voice?
Would it be
No,
too
I'm
much
not.
to ask the Australian?
No, I would love the Australian to read it. I love the Australians.
All right, fine. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll take it.
Okay.
It's up to you guys.
It's gonna.
All right.
It might give
We're
you.
just destroying Mockery's voice.
It's gonna be.
It's like, go Australian.
It'll be interesting to hear. So.
It's an interesting
Alrighty.
experience, that's for sure.
Is it like a character piece? Because then I guess I'm doing some impromptu acting.
Yes, it'll be a character piece, kind of. I'll just let
Alrighty.
you. I'll just.
Whoa,
I'll let you
fun.
Have
experience.
fun reading it. I also love this one, so all right, go for it.
Before you begin, could you
Okay.
actually explain what this is, Jack? Like what the format is here?
Okay, so essentially, it's what we call a project proposal. It is a GUI format for the Are We Cool Yet group of interest. So essentially, these are formatted in like a proposal. You're going to be proposing an artwork or an art piece to present to an expo. These expos are very special. They happen every 10 years or so. And so it's like this huge grand event where all the best artists try to come up with proposals and try to come up with these artworks that are supposed to astound people. They're supposed to impress people, give off a message. So it's essentially like trying to create a picture of like how actual artworks in real life kind of all have their own hidden meanings and whatnot. And they're trying to express or perform. So that's essentially what it is.
I see.
So it'll be broken down between a title, and then they kind of list all the materials or whatnot that they use, and then they'll have like an abstract, which is an explanation of the performance, the artwork, etc. And then they'll have a final section here that is called an intent, and it'll basically describe why they're going to be doing this artwork, like what it's about, what it's trying to symbolize, and they're trying to impress a panel or trying to impress the present or whoever is running the proposal sheets and trying to get their proposal onto the expo. So
Okay, super
like
cool.
it.
Are We Cool Yet is like my favorite GOI, so I'm very excited for this.
awesome.
Enjoy.
Hate to break up the momentum, but we are like an hour in, so I don't think it would hurt if we took a quick break. Also, I really need to pee, so.
I'll make sure to mute myself this time.
But yeah, if you guys want to just take a quick 5-minute break, we will call you once again at 4:09.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear this read.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
same.
sorry.
I'll take a water break. I think.
I had a panic attack for a second because you said 409, but I keep forgetting your EST, so I was just like, in 3 hours.
In 5 minutes at
All
09.
right, and Shaun, just to make sure.
Hello, welcome back.
Hello.
I had a really wonderful realization that I think everyone is going to love to hear.
I'm back. I
no.
swear.
What's going on now?
Okay, are we all back? We're all back. Okay, so fun little thing that's happening right now. I have been told that the place this recording booth is in is closing, and I need to leave. So
Oh my god.
Oh,
Hey, fun.
Okay. What do you want us to do?
I'm like just uploading the recording right now, and I'm gonna run back to my dorm room, and we will pick up there. It'll take me like 10 minutes
okay.
to walk back.
So everyone, stop recording and then start when you get back, so we can do another sync test.
Damn it!
Actually, no. Just if you can leave your recording going, that would actually be the best thing, so I don't have to work with
Okay.
like 10 different
Gamer.
files.
That's fair.
All right.
Can't
That works.
wait for the foreword where you're just like, before this episode begins, I have to just state that the audio may sound a bit different in the second half because I had to run to my dorm room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the recording booth I was in started closing around me.
Hey, at least it's not like the DJ Cactus episode where there's like several months in between.
True. Oh, brilliant. The audio file is going to take 11 minutes to upload to my Google Drive.
Oh. Fun.
Will it be
How's
fun with
everyone
that, though?
doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you, though,
Look,
brother?
I can record for 435 hours. I am good to go.
We'll be careful not to
435
reach that.
True. Yeah, we'll try not because I don't. I have to
can
work
record for a week.
in 9 hours. I think 9. No, that's not 9. Jack, you can't fucking do math.
I can do
4
math. I don't
plus
know who
3,
you're talking
7. There we go, 7 hours.
Talking to himself. He's saying Jack to himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not you, Jack.
Not you, Jack.
look, how was I supposed to know?
I thought he said Jackie. Jackie, you can't do math. And I was like, hey, that's true.
can do
but
math.
fuck you.
It's fun.
I'm just eating Skittles.
I love
Oh,
Skittles.
Skittles.
I'm
Oh, white.
I'm a real blonde-haired,
I want some damn
white-skinned
Skittles.
Skittle
What kind
eater.
of flavor Skittles we eating, eh?
Eating the originals, they brought the lime flavor back.
Oh,
The
boy.
Flavor, wow!
I
Some
ain't
southern limes.
Wow.
Ain't them the green ones? I love those ones. They
I love them green ones. Them green
Oh,
ones taste the
what?
best. I think the orange ones, though, they're a bit nasty. Those orange ones, yeah.
Yeah, you got no taste buds.
Those are
I
my
got no
favorite.
taste buds. I
buds.
got taste buds. I just don't
No,
like
you
them
don't.
orange
Yeah,
ones. My taste buds don't like them orange.
Clearly don't, man.
You guys
My
realize
orange-
he's going to keep this.
Bloopers!
It's like it's like Shaun doesn't even need to contribute to the conversation for it to work out funny. So it's like you can still like this is why we're still continuing to record.
Right?
Shaun's just, there's going to be some funny interactions between
no,
the council members.
I need the gold. Give me the gold.
Yeah.
Pure Jack Chaos.
Hey guys, Editor Shaun here. So usually when we record these, everybody records them separately, just their own voice. So I can put them all together, line them up, and edit people's voices uniquely as I need to make it sound a lot better. However, JakdragonX accidentally recorded everybody at the same time in the Discord call. He essentially recorded the Discord call. Around this time, I stopped recording because I needed to upload the episode to Google Drive and leave my recording booth, which was about to close down. However, since JakdragonX was... I kept talking in the Discord call, but it wouldn't have come through in the recording because my recording of my voice would not have been recording me anymore. So theoretically, you wouldn't have been able to hear me. However, since JakdragonX accidentally recorded everybody at the same time, he essentially recorded the Discord call, you could still hear the things that supposedly you shouldn't be able to hear. So that is why I constantly say stuff about the audience not being able to hear what I'm saying, despite the fact that you can. So, I don't know. It's still kind of funny, I think. Isn't that confusing? This is a minute-long note. Really didn't need to be. Now it's over a minute. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Pure
Just
Jack
at the end.
Chaos.
This is the bloopers. They can't hear me
This is the
saying this.
bloopers.
They don't know what I'm saying. I can say anything I
They'll
want.
never know.
Bunch of
Yeah,
jack, just
What?
jacking
Well,
off.
Shaun, I can't believe you said the N-word just there, and you're not gonna say anything about it in post.
No!
I'm kidding.
It's over!
I think it's
ruined
time to
me.
cancel Shaun on Twitter now.
Sean said Nito. He said Nito for all of us to hear. He said Nito. Oh my
You
gosh.
said Nido King, the Pokemon,
Nito King.
I
from my
would never.
favorite game.
Aren't there
love
two
it.
types
I
of...
love Nito King. Nito King was always
I
in my
guess-
Gen 1 team.
I guess that's the end of the Jack Council episode. We're never gonna finish it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we now we're just sort of like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, can we
lost
record
media.
the rest? We'd be supporting Shaun, I guess. I don't know, dude.
Floating in
Little
ether.
Psychic Pebbles doll. What are your opinions on the SCP Authors Anomalous podcast?
Yeah, we do things a little bit differently now.
That is terrifying. That is demented.
That's me. That's that.
I love how we were doing southern accents, and he just goes, "Yeah, we do things a little bit differently down here in the south."
Oh, yeah. Oh, Lord.
Oh dear. You can't say that when you're not recording, Shaun.
See, now they'll never know what I said.
You know
Look,
what?
we can't even iterate it. We can't even
No one
repeat.
detail what Shaun just said,
Yeah, we
so the
can't
audience
even-
is wondering, what the fuck did he say?
No, we
You
can't
can
even
tell them,
repeat
but
it.
they'll never believe you.
We can't
We're
even
not
repeat
telling
it,
them.
even
No,
if we
bugger
wanted
it.
to.
We're just going to leave that up to interpretation. We're those kinds of authors.
Oh,
We can't even repeat it even if we want to, because then we'll be essentially saying what he said. Then we'll all look like we're in trouble.
Yo, Mockery, do you like Marmite?
How do I like Marmite? I don't know what that is.
What?
Is that supposed to be Vegemite?
It's like British Vegemite, I guess.
British Vegemite, right. Well, I
The
haven't
fuck is
touched it.
Vegemite?
How's Vegemite?
Vegemite is the gamer sauce. It is the one reason Australia is still a functioning country. We've
Yo, Jack.
been brought up
or
on strength.
Jack
That is
Dragon.
The
Okay,
glue
well-
holding that entire continent together
Okay,
is Vegemite.
imagine dried thick.
I don't want to do. I
Like
don't want to do
soy
that.
sauce.
I don't want to imagine anything.
Well, now you are. Now you have to.
Yeah,
Imagine
it's
spreadable.
It doesn't
soy
work
sauce.
on me. I'm not imagining anything.
Now
There
you're
you
breathing manually. You're breathing manually. You're
If
breathing
you
manually.
imagine,
Unironically,
you to imagine some dragons, Jack.
though, the breathing thing doesn't affect me. It's the blinking. Now I'm manually fucking blinking.
Look, now I am too. I hate you.
The breathing thing doesn't bother me. I don't manually breathe when people tell me to, but when they tell me to do anything,
Your heart is beating manually.
it is beating manually.
What?
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Hang on, I gotta look at something.
No way, there's a camera and microphone in that device?
Yeah,
There's a
camera.
Camera and microphone in that device.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Sheet.
Cool.
Fun.
Oh my god!
A minute left. Come on.
I just imagine like around.
When it's
Stare at
when it's
it really
finished,
hard.
Sean just
Fantastic.
leaves.
No, I just,
Yeah, it's
I
like,
just
alright, that's the
imagine,
podcast. See you guys.
no, I just
We're all-
imagine like
Yeah.
Sean's downloading this file in like some like isolated chamber or something, and then just all around him, they're just like bodies just staring at him. Everything's shutting down around him. It's like a,
Everybody came into the recording booth and started staring at me.
All the
Finishing
Five Nights
up
at
on-
Freddy's animatronics when it turns 6 o'clock.
The dog. It's the dog. He stood up on his legs and he's staring at me. He
starts
wants me
hearing-
gone.
He starts
It's just
hearing
him.
a
Nobody else
tune.
cares. He wants me out.
Yeah!
Storage is full? No. The stuff that I've ever recorded is here.
Wipes brow.
Okay, listen. Worst case scenario, like if Dr. Gears was willing to
Oh.
retry things with you, I'm pretty sure the Jack Council can be.
No,
a little
no. After that
flexible.
racist shit, I'm not gonna really try it.
Oh,
I
no.
no longer
to be
know how I
honest.
feel about this.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
was
that
gonna
may
say,
be
like-
where you come from,
Thank you, guys.
Jackrabbit, but we do things a little bit differently down here in the south.
Okay. I'll be right back, you guys.
Okay, I have to leave now. I have to leave. I'm going back to my dorm room now. I'll be back in like 10 minutes, maybe.
See you in 10 minutes.
Hopefully,
boy.
I this file will almost certainly be okay. I just might not have this episode out for a while because of this. That's okay.
That's
Okay.
alright.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
One. We'll see you in 10, yeah?
Absolutely beautiful. Okay, I'm leaving. No, not leaving, but I'm just muting myself.
No,
Okay, meeting.
we can't touch hands together.
Hudson! Please take my hand! I'm gonna fall!
Please, make you take my hand. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Punching Nazis is a slippery slope, and I love water slides. Wee.
Number 15.
Hail Satan.
The last thing you want.
Who's in the Force Journal of SCPD? Huh? Let's see. What's happening in there? Carbon's there, and Sir Slash,
And West Bud.
and Tart Tangerine, Uranium Empire, the Moderator.
What you definitely don't want is.
You definitely don't want a moderator in your VC, but as it turns out, that might be what you get.
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 The last thing you want in your podcast is 4 people who have the name Jack.
Yeah.
I'm just looking.
Because
Good
one
so
of
far.
Because one of them will inevitably call the other Jack, and then everyone's
That's a
gonna laugh.
That's a Matthew Cotier, like, I think we did a pretty good job so far.
I think it was funny when Jak Mockery referred to himself as Jack, and we all thought that he was talking to the rest of us. I'm like, man, we just.
Like, I can't wait for the. There's another potential fan art. It's just me talking to myself and saying my own name, and then just everyone pointing at each other like, "Were you addressing me or them?"
We need the Spider-Man meme fan art of the four of us all pointing at each other. Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
How did I pick this up
That'd
from
be pretty
an
good.
old tweet?
Do any of you guys listen to the Find Us Alive podcast?
I don't. I should though,
I listened
because
to the
Find Us
first
Alive
episode.
is literally just Space 1999, but in the SCP
Yeah.
universe.
I'm pretty sure
Pretty
that's Radica's one, right?
Yeah, I
Sure,
still
sure,
have
sure,
to. I
yeah.
still have to
Sure,
kind of dive.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Shaun
definitely.
Saxum!
Yeah, and that's why
It's
Shaun's
Shaun
thought. Oh,
Saxum.
hey Shaun, how's it going?
Hi.
Jason!
Sprinted all the way back. Oh,
Real heavy rain glitch.
oh
moment.
my god.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
My heart is beating out of my chest.
Stop that.
I don't know why I did that. So pointless.
You silly little bastard. Anyway, need to
Hold on.
start.
Take
Oh
a
my
deep
God.
breath.
Sean,
Take a
No.
deep
are you
breath.
gonna make
Drink
No.
some water. Take
I won't. You can't make me.
Sean,
I
you
have to
should make
record.
you should
I have to
make
podcast.
You should make a podcast Discord server. You should start this server as the podcast Discord server.
Podcast
be
Discord server. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah.
It will have one channel. It'll be general, and have one voice channel, which will also be general. Brilliant. Maybe I will do that.
Yeah, maybe you will. Maybe you will.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will do that.
You will.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Oh boy.
I love the peeking. I love
I'm
the
sorry.
you won't.
No, I'm recording. Hey, look at that.
Sean, have you
Recording,
thought about maybe what would happen if you didn't?
What'll happen if I don't?
Oh my god! Oh shit!
What would happen if you don't? I don't know. I'm not God. I don't know the answers to everything, Sean. I'm just a Jack. Part of a council of Jacks.
Let's all just take a breath.
Results of that. Hi, everybody. I'm back.
Hi
It's
back.
sweaty.
Hi,
That was
back.
a good one. That was a good one. You
Kill
got me
yourself.
going. I'm rolling on the laughter floor.
Right, we got to do another sync test. So,
Do we have to?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
we do.
Yes.
Ow,
I mean, you can't make me, right? Like,
Shut up. Let's do another sync test. Okay.
5, 4, 3,
3,
2,
2, 1.
You guys keep.
Brilliant.
You guys
I
keep
did my
fucking.
Wait,
Oh
so
my
what?
god.
Someone trying to speak? Did everyone get synced up?
No, because you guys keep
Oh my
talking
god.
over him.
I didn't hear that. Sorry. What did you say?
I said you guys keep talking over Sean, and I can't tell when he says one.
You guys are taking
Oh,
years
so we
off of
didn't
this
see
young
that-
man's
okay.
life.
Second. All right, maggots. Let's see who's ready. JackalRelated, are you ready?
I'm JackalRelated.
Jackrabbit, are you ready?
Hey there, you cute cadets. It's me, Agent Jackrabbit.
Jak Mockery, are you ready? I want to
No.
fucking die. Dragon, are you ready?
No.
Shaun Saxum, are you ready?
No.
All right.
All right.
Just one more time.
Wait.
5,
I
4,
have a question.
3.
3, 2.
1.
Shit, fuck you, Jackal. You fucked it up. Shaun, do it one more time. Do it one more time.
I will not do this again. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was definitely not a consistent tempo. Hello, welcome back to SCP Authors Anomalous, episode 8. I just ran across my university to get back to my dorm room because the recording booth closed. I'm like sweating all over. I'm covered in sweat.
I've been covered in
I'm
sweat,
the most
too.
physical exercise any SCP author has in the last year. I'm gonna take
To
it
be
back.
fair, I did just go to a boxing gym. That's bull.
Sean
That
just
is
called me
debatable,
fat.
but I'm not gonna explain
No.
why.
Almost
Can't believe Shaun Saxum just called me fat. You heard it.
Now here's
You heard
the
it here.
though.
Yep.
You heard it.
Go.
Drama.
He literally said that.
Yep.
Can't
Also said
be more.
worse things while my recording was off.
Oh, we said worse things. We were talking mad shit about you, Shaun Saxum.
I can't wait to listen to it.
People always do
I have the
sync
recordings.
tests,
I
but
will have
nobody
them.
does toilet tests. Why is that? Why is it always a sync test? You know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Why is
good
it a
one.
test?
You really got me laughing there again.
Thanks.
We're looking forward to the shower test.
I'm known to be so hilariously funny that nobody laughs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shall we?
What is this again? Who's this? Where are we?
We
Powers
are-
of the trees.
Yeah,
Jack,
we were about to
Dragon,
have Jak Mockery was about to read Jackragon's project proposal, Portrait of the Trees,
Brilliant.
which is in a new format that we haven't covered up to this point in this episode, which is an Are We Cool Yet GOI
We're not,
format.
This is actually our first one of this entire podcast. It's very
That's
cool.
really
I actually never
exciting.
knew what a GOI format actually meant. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was just
Neither
like, is that
did
just a GOI tale? Is that a tale about GOIs? I was like, oh, now I understand. This article made me understand, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yes, that's where we are. Are you ready, Australian?
Oh yeah, I tried my best. I'm ready to go.
Oh my god.
Nah.
Okay.
Theme music.
What the fuck is the Tetris music? All right. Excuse
I
me.
hate it here.
I hate
Me
it here.
too. Read the thing. I'm going to put on shorts.
Oh, you're pantsless?
Hell yeah.
Not yet, but I'm about to be.
Yeah.
I will take them off and you can hear the audio.
Can you
I'm
narrate
joking, I'm
for
muting
us
my
before
mic.
Good.
Yeah, we get to hear this.
Oh dear.
That's not
All
a
right.
good thing.
Read the article.
Title: Portraits of the Trees. Material requirements: disposable syringe needles, 5 mg, at least 5 spares, but having extra would be appreciated. Corticosteroids and epinephrine, 5 mg respectively. Extra dosages of each will be required. Mary Powell, female, age 55, acting as my performer, already in my possession. Ordinary table and chair, 1 for each, both already in my possession. Paper, at least 1 stack required, already in my possession. Thumbtack pins, already in my possession. Art utensils, including sketching pencils, watercolour and acrylic paints, etc., already in my possession. Repurposed recycling machine, already in my possession. Standard Colt 1911 pistol, loaded with 1 live round, awaiting approval from security and already in my possession. Volumetric time dilation device, can be retrieved from most Foundation sites with a temporal department. Isolated 4.5 meters by 4.5 meter chamber, with an additional observation room that has been sufficiently sealed and equipped with a large semi-transparent window. Special accommodation request has been completed, awaiting verification. The trees of Adderberry Lane, already in my possession. Aerosolized phencyladine, already in my possession. Abstract. Portraits of the Trees will be a performance piece in which visitors can gather a first-hand glimpse of the human mind and its response to elevated levels of stress. Everyone will congregate within the designated observation room to ensure that no one is accidentally affected by the exhibit. Once the crowd has been situated, I shall introduce myself and my performer, who will be seated at the table inside of the other room. Once I read through my scripted speech, the performance will officially begin. No one will be allowed to enter the exhibit room at this point, except for myself. As the scene opens, I will start by revealing the trees of Adderberry Lane, a painting made by myself, to the audience. Upon viewing the portrait, many in the crowd will begin to feel anxious or depressed. Some might even grow uncomfortable and request that I put it away. Soliciting these responses will be, of course, intentional. Likewise, I will also show this painting to the performer, who will then be instructed to remake the artwork exactly. Miscellaneous supplies, tools, and materials will be neatly organised and provided on the performer's table for her convenience. As she constructs her art, the exhibit room shall slowly begin filling with aerosolized phencyladine, which will be circulated by the repurposed recycling machine. This substance will quickly cause the performer to disassociate and detach from her surroundings. Additionally, this will make her assigned task increasingly more difficult to accomplish, and will incentivize the performer to finish painting as quickly as possible. Once the performer completes her recreation, she will be instructed to hold her painting up to the window for myself and the visitors inside the observation room to critique. As the director of this performance, whether or not her results are satisfactory will be up to my discretion. If I deem her art as a success, she will be allowed to leave the exhibit room, in which I shall cancel the rest of the performance and withdraw my submission from the 2014 Expo. However, if I am not satisfied with the content of her work, the performer will be instructed to remake the painting again. Her previous attempt will be discarded and pinned to the walls of the exhibit room. For every failure, I shall enter the performance room and inject her with varying amounts of corticosteroids and epinephrine. This will cause the performer to become anxious and panicked. Furthermore, due to time constraints, I have decided to surround the immediate vicinity of the performer's workspace with a volumetric time dilation device. Its purpose is twofold: to lengthen the effects of the drugs within the performer's body via the slowing of reality around her, and to also allow her ample time to create as many paintings as she desires. After our performer tries and fails several times to recreate the painting, she should begin succumbing to the effects of both the corticosteroids and epinephrine inside of her, as well as the aerosolized phencylamine. It will be at this moment that some of our visitors start realizing the futility of her situation. On the table in front of the performer, a Colt 1911 pistol, loaded with a single round, will also be provided. At any point in time, she will be able to use the gun in whatever way she desires. The performance will climax and subsequently conclude once that pistol is fired. Intent. Isolation can be a very powerful thing. It's not surprising just how effective it can be in entrapping us, chaining innocent people to their fears and anxieties. Whenever I discuss the topic of isolation with my friends or colleagues, many will claim that they feel a tinge of sadness or pity for those who share a complicated history of battling with it. For others who are more fortunate than the rest of us, however, they see isolation as a weapon that they can wield and hone against the weak. As a child, the only feelings I've ever experienced were those associated with isolation. You see, I was born into this world with a gift, an ability that allowed others to feel the emotions I had through my art. Whenever I was happy or excited, for example, my drawings would make others equally as joyful. Likewise, whenever I drew something that stemmed from anger or malice, those who gazed upon my creations also shared and festered in that rage. My mother was the first to discover this ability, long before I ever realized that it existed. Once she was aware of it, she did everything in her power to hoard me away from everyone else, to conceal me from others who might try to use my gifts for their own desires. She would always ask me to paint something for her. Of course, in my naivety, I always complied with her requests. Painting after painting, soon the only thing that ever made me happy were the trees outside my bedroom window, with their long branches and elegant leaves that swayed in the autumn wind. I wished to imitate the beauty that I saw from them in my work. Every day, I would try to remake those lovely trees. But even now, it still feels like I could never get it exactly right. My mother found pleasure and euphoria from my labor, whether it was by selling my creations or through the gratification she received from experiencing my portraits. Mary Powell had been completely oblivious to the child that she had raised, painfully unaware of the fact that, behind those portraits and that mysterious gift that he had, there was a screaming boy who begged for freedom. To be rescued from the chains of his bedroom walls, and to finally have someone that he could rely on and talk to someday. She had robbed him of everything that he wished to seek, leaving him to be nothing but a desolate, hollow shell. And now, here we are, with the tables turned entirely. In her ignorance, she never thought that I'd come back. That I wouldn't one day seek some sort of recompense for my suffering. How absolutely ludicrous of my mother. Surely she must know that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? But don't think that I'm really like my mother. After all, the doors leading to her room will be left unlocked. I'm not some decrepit fool like she is. At any point in time during the performance, she may freely leave if she wishes to do so. That would also mean my complete withdrawal from the 2014 Expo. I'd even cancel all my submissions to any future exhibitions as well, just so that I could prove that I'm nothing like my mother, Mary Powell. But, in case this incites any panic, you don't have to worry. Remember that my mother and I share the same blood in our veins. She too considers herself a perfectionist, much like myself in that regard. I can promise you, with every fibre of my being, she won't leave. Hell, she won't do anything else at all. Not for the rest of her days. Not until she finishes her portraits of the trees, that is.
Bravo. That was
Sweet.
Whoa.
Oh my
That was
god.
awesome.
That's crazy.
That was
Super
so
good.
fucking fantastic.
That was awesome.
So, real quick, before we get into the delicious meat and potatoes of talking about this, I just wanted to say that in anticipation for knowing that we were going to have to read this and all of the different chemical names and having to say those out loud, I was chuckling as we were reading JackalRelated's article. We were stumbling over words because my brain, I was like, you guys have no idea what's coming. I was like, one of us is gonna have to like. It ended up being Jak Mockery, and so yeah, I was just like, as I've foreseen.
Stuff I always have to do multiple takes and like just get the not multiple takes of the whole fucking thing, but like I usually if I get to a sentence where there's something I don't know how to pronounce or I struggle to pronounce, I always stop recording. I'm just like, right, single this out on its own.
No, but
That was awesome.
You did incredible, and I think that it shows like how effective this article is by starting out just so measured, chemical, by the books, and then it gets so emotionally twisted that it like I loved listening to how it just transformed you while you were reading it, Jak Mockery. Like it's like that is an effective piece. So well done. Jak Dragon, like, oh my god, I love this one so much. And, like, I was feeling sick in the best way listening to that reading. That was awesome.
That was
that was amazing.
Very good. That was a very good.
That's the stuff that you wish you could write.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, not you as in like a specific person. I just mean like you as in like in general. I feel like I have to clarify because that sounded like I just dug like everybody else here.
Hey, I'll take it. Like,
This article.
It just said, I was trying to update, and it just said, trying to re-rate this content? You've already given this one +1.
yeah. Anytime Jak Dragon does anything with Are We Cool Yet, it is, like, visceral.
Aw,
It, like,
thanks.
it, like, makes me feel like, it's that, like, uncomfortable feeling that you actually, like feeling, where you're just like, yes, this made me want to fucking puke. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're so good at writing these.
I picked up immediately who it was, and I was just like,
Yeah, because
Jesus Christ.
You did what was it? The 1731 you did recently? Jak Dragon,
was the
the
tale.
masterpiece.
It was the construction, the masterpiece. It was supposed to.
Yeah,
be
and I loved that one too. Yeah, you're really good at
I
writing
also
anything.
did
Are We
another
Cool Yet
one
related?
with Ralston. Art is a getaway drug, and that one has a bunch of medical terms in that one too. And Ralston came up to me and was like, "Can you help me with this?" And I basically like rewrote like huge sections of it, and it's still on the art wiki. It's not one of the highest rated things, but it's pretty decent for what it is.
Yeah,
Um,
it's good stuff.
but this article I wrote in one setting in an hour and a half for JamCon. the JamCon, if no one else knows, was a contest where essentially you had one day. Was it 1 day or 2 days? I think it was 2 days, but I think one. No, it was 1 day.
No, it was one because this is 21,
right.
So it was 1 day.
You had 1 day to write an article, and you had to fit it with was it like a certain theme? Was it for JamCon?
Yeah.
I don't remember what the theme was.
Trees.
No, I don't remember what it was for this one, but I
put the tags. Corruption.
Corruption. Okay, that would make sense. Hang on, let me actually look.
Yep, definitely makes sense. That checks out.
I'm pretty sure it's corruption because it's hidden tagged with it. So.
It is. Okay, yeah. So this was for corruption. I had this idea way back. I used to work at this really boring facility. It was actually for Amazon, and I was doing my thing, and I would just come up with this. Sometimes when you're just thinking, you have certain sentences that stick out to you. That's what sometimes happens to me. I'll have certain sentences or phrases that I remember, or that just stick out to me. And on that day, the particular sentence I was thinking about was portraits of the trees. I couldn't stop thinking about that phrase, and I was like, I need to use that somewhere. I need to use that in an article. I need to write that down. And so I tried to rationalize who would be painting portraits of the trees, who would paint portraits of the trees, and then that was during COVID and everything, and I was someone who's probably stuck at home looking out a window or something, and then from there I'm okay, but why are they stuck there? And I didn't want to use COVID because that was kind of on the nose, and so my mind instantly gravitated to being trapped, someone was keeping them there forcefully, who would do that, and it all just domino affected into what the article is right now. And so I posted this article a few hours before the contest, before the day ended, before the timeline, and I had no expectations. I thought it sucked. I thought the writing was bad. The sequences were really chunky. It didn't make. This is my first ever GOI format. I've never touched RWeCool yet, and so I just kind of let it sit, and I kind of forgot about it. But that was until the next week when I looked back on it, and the article was shooting up. Everyone was really liking it, and now here we are.
Nice.
So that's kind of the intent behind the background behind it. But I'm
Super
really
cool.
surprised by how it came out, how it turned out. It definitely.
It's kind of like we were saying with the previous article, where family related, tensions in any sort of writing on at all, it really hits people and really resonates with people. And this is on the complete opposite end of that spectrum, where before we had kind of a wholesome thing going on, and this is just oh my gosh, creepy as fuck, with the family dynamic between these two. And I just if anybody's ever had a really overbearing parent, who was more fixated on what their child could do for them than who their child actually was, they're, you're going to resonate with this piece. So just, he did.
It's nothing compared to Mockery's performance. Wow, that was impressive.
I love
that. It's more impressive that it was on the nose and that Mockery has never read this before and just kind of felt the vibe of the article. That was impressive.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been looking at reading ideas of stuff and thinking it would be actually kind of cool to do tales instead, because not a lot of people do tales for SCP, right?
Right.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking at my options. So basically, my goals at the moment with taking that off is going to be mostly tales, because it's easy to edit, and if it's going to be an SCP article, it's going to be one that hasn't been read before.
Awesome.
So I think 4016 was the one on my list. That was the number one because it's simple and it has one log, but I'm working on that.
My people will be in touch with your people.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's exciting.
Nice.
I'm glad my audition has been accepted. But yeah, I don't know. So back to this piece, just to not sidetrack it. Yeah, so I tend to act sort of mostly off of a script first, and then I sort of build upon that from there. But it only works if a piece of media is really engaging and good. Jack, this is fucking amazing. I love this so much.
Thanks.
This is so well written. It's so amazing.
Yeah, no,
Such
I was on a time crunch.
Dark, very miserable piece where everyone's a piece of shit, but it's
really good.
so complex. Like, not only are there pieces of shit, they're sympathetic pieces of shit. Like, because I don't outright hate the one telling this, like the guy telling this. I sympathize with him. I don't like what he's doing to her, but wow.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So amazing. This is the type of shit I want to write.
Right.
100%. Honestly, like, one thing that I think is really funny, we just, like, these both are about family, but, like, this article and the one before are both about family, but in, like, such completely different ways. Like, that's super cool. Perfect.
Yeah,
I honestly wish I had set it up that way.
Yeah, no,
Actually, no, I did set it up that way. I planned this.
Happened.
of course.
Yeah, totally. Of course.
Like always.
Oh man. No, but this one, yeah, I wrote this in like an hour and a half. I had no expectations for it, and I'm just happy with the result.
Good work.
Super good work.
Yeah,
All right,
excellent work.
Should we move
We should
on
move
to
on. I'm done. No more compliments.
this
Sweet.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Compliments, please.
Oh no, the next thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And now,
boy.
This one's gonna
we're ending on a
start
very
some
appropriate note.
conversations.
After all these super serious ones we've been reading today.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
Oh boy.
There she is.
So terrific that this is canon now. Well, whatever canon there is with SCP. But basically, like, this isn't a joke SCP. This is an EX.
It's not, and earlier in the episode when I mentioned that our podcast host was messaging me, he was double checking that I was okay with reading this because I was yeah.
You sounded uncomfortable. I was like, "Is this
No,
okay? Did I just bring up something like horrible?"
No. It's okay, and I'm looking forward to explaining why I have that tone in my voice, and I think that it would be nice to be able to have an opportunity to talk about this article and just what happened.
I also
That's menacing.
Because oh my god, I'm looking at the rating today. The rating for this article has like almost hit like 50, and it's gone back down. And it's gone this thing has been the most. I'm like, you guys, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
I will say before we continue that
So tempted to hit the
think
rating. I
Mockery
can't do that on the
needs
podcast.
I think Mockery needs a break from all. Mockery is straight
I
up
think
too.
Jackrabbit
I'm not
should start,
reading this one. Don't
actually.
worry. Jackrabbit's taking this one.
I'll go ahead and take this one, and then
You can switch off during the middle of it if you want to, or like the addendums.
Shaun, should we just read the article and then I'll give the context for what happened with this, or what do you
I
want
think
to
that's
do?
a good idea. We'll do that. We'll do
Okay.
that. But could you also explain real quickly what an explained object class means? Because I don't think we've had one of those on the podcast yet.
So this was a brand new thing for me. So let's go ahead and say that this was not written by me. I've only written one SCP article at this time, and we read it on a previous episode. And so Shaun suggested this one, and I agreed. I think that this was a good one to bring in. So this was written by Dr. Asteria, and an explained SCP. I wasn't super familiar with these. Is an anomaly that turned out to not be an anomaly. It seemed like something crazy was going on. It seemed like there was danger, and then suddenly they were like, womp womp. Like there was actually a perfectly logical explanation for why this was happening. So therefore, it's been explained. But perhaps the incident that took place was significant enough to log. So if it happened again or something, they could be like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. That's my paraphrasing.
Exactly,
my
perfect.
paraphrasing of, what an explained SCP is. So
Just means we've been able to explain it with like normal science or whatever.
yeah. Okay, so let me hydrate my flesh for 1 second.
Ooh,
Oh,
All right. All right. Come on, guys. Be professional. This is the most professional thing we've read here thus far. No. Okay. So item number, SCP-721-EX, object class, previously Keter, now explained. Special containment procedures. Archived. As the effects of SCP-721-EX only manifest in the presence of Agent O'Hare every Valentine's Day, she is to be isolated within a secure location at least 100 kilometers from Site-19 that is randomized each year. This location is not to be disclosed to any Site-19 staff without exception. If an individual afflicted by SCP-721-EX for more than 24 hours there to be given a Class A amnestic and kept under surveillance during the holiday. So, description, also archived. SCP-721-EX is a virulent mimetic hazard that causes any exposed Foundation personnel to believe that Agent Jacqueline O'Hare of Mobile Task Force Lambda 5, the White Rabbits, is objectively their chosen Valentine every February 14th to a degree of manic insistence despite their affliction and relations, or lack thereof, to Agent O'Hare, regardless of romantic or platonic connections to others. Effects of SCP-721-EX include, but are not limited to, an overwhelming desire to procure Valentine's Day gifts and love letters for Agent O'Hare, addressed to my Jackrabbit, my bunny, or otherwise. Mobs of staff swarming her with confessions of romantic or platonic love, desperately asking for dates and physical intimacy, as well as, in one case, a physical altercation over who would grab her a cup of coffee that resulted in a small-scale riot within the Site-19 cafeteria. After the holiday, 90% of afflicted individuals recover within 24 hours, with any attachments to O'Hare returning to their previous state. Of the 10% who would remain afflicted for longer than those periods, the attractions would remain consistent to that of the mimetic effect and were susceptible to having a more intense experience with each year left untreated. Addendum. 721-EX discovery. In an originally innocent effort to boost morale... This was such a funny day. In an originally innocent effort to boost staff morale, Alexandra AIC was modified on... Frickin' Hysteria does not live in the States writing the frickin' calendar dates like this, does she? On February 14th, 2022, with a minor program allowing Foundation personnel to be amusingly assigned another staff member as a Valentine for the holiday. The program utilized a recurrent neural network analyzing non-classified documents and communications to find recurring connections between staff, meant to connect them based on status, relations, similarities, and personality. Despite thousands being employed at Site-19, approximately 68% of personnel were simultaneously assigned Agent O'Hare as their Valentine. While the results of the program were to be taken in jest, an unknown secondary effect occurred in which many of those affected truly believed Agent O'Hare was their romantic partner and acted as such. It is believed that neither Agent O'Hare or the program caused this effect, as O'Hare claimed to have no knowledge of how many people were assigned to her, and the personnel she had been assigned to was never disclosed to the public. During SCP-721-EX's manifestation, Agent O'Hare was incredibly flustered over the mass amount of affection she was receiving. She stated it was extremely difficult for her to traverse the site or to be left alone, going so far as having to barricade herself in her office to avoid countless love confessions. Due to this, she was unable to respond with Mobile Task Force Lambda 5 to a containment breach that resulted in 5 casualties. As security staff and the remaining 32% of personnel were unaffected, were unsuccessful in regaining control of the facility. Agent O'Hare was isolated, the program was removed, and Class A amnestics were disseminated through the air vents in an attempt to de-escalate the rapidly out-of-control situation. Shaun, can I popcorn this off to you?
100%, yeah. Sorry, had my mic muted there for a second.
No, you're fine. Hydrate your flesh person. We are at addendum 721EX.2.
Okay,
So
okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
I looked away for like a moment. Okay.
I gotcha.
Addendum 721EX.2. Updated object class. 2 internal surveys of Site-19 staff were conducted by the Human Resources Department on this is confusing. February 1st, 2025 and February 14th, or wait. No.
February 1st and February 14th. No. January
2nd, 2025 and February 14th, 2025. Oh, dates are so confusing. In order to find a cause for SCP-721-EX's effects. Agent O'Hare was isolated during the latter survey in an undisclosed location. The results of the survey conclude that SCP-721-EX is surprisingly non-existent. Instead, Agent O'Hare simply maintains a high level of popularity among staff, especially from the Foundation propaganda posted around Site-19. Due to this popularity, Agent O'Hare is a common conversation topic among Foundation staff communications, explaining the program's results. These results were consistent among both surveys, concluding that her popularity does not change with the holiday, and that most staff members believe they have an opportunity with Agent O'Hare on Valentine's Day. It was discovered that the first incident had occurred due to a secondary cause of vodka-infused chocolates that were given to the majority of staff as a gift for the holiday. This unintentionally caused several personnel to become intoxicated and behave more recklessly. To prevent further disruptions to site security and efficacy, annual mandatory anti-harassment seminars and training are to be held for all Foundation staff the day before Valentine's Day. Psychological evaluations are to be given 1 month prior to assess personnel's behavior and likelihood in pursuing romantic relations with Agent O'Hare. All Valentine's Day gifts given to staff by the Foundation are to be non-alcoholic. Foundation staff are to be reminded that Agent O'Hare most likely has no interest in them in particular, unless otherwise stated.
Woohoo!
And end of article. I noticed that there's a little bit of white space right there.
I think it's just a formatting quirk.
This came together in a couple hours. So
I have
Yeah.
thoughts, but I'll wait.
Yeah.
until-
I have feedback.
I think we all, I think we all
That's
do.
feedback.
I'm
I love
interested to see
discussion
how
40,
we're-
rate plus 18.
I'm
I love how
really
this has
excited.
been translated as well.
Ratio.
I'm really excited to
God.
see what everyone's ideas are, and because I'm gonna personally, I'd like to personally offer a recommendation of change, if I were to ever be given the chance to rewrite this. If like, the author-
Why don't I go last?
Oh,
Because
no,
I
no.
probably
Yeah.
have I probably have the most to say about what happened here. So why don't I go last? Everybody go first.
Yeah.
Who has
Sure.
the least to say? Who thinks they have the least to say about this?
I think I have the
I
least
probably have the least to say.
No, it's probably
I do. I win. I go
Okay,
first.
okay,
to
go
say.
ahead,
Go
Shaun.
first, Mr. Podcast Host. Fine.
I have nothing to say.
Okay.
I thought it was funny. Go on.
Okay, Jack,
Yeah,
you
okay,
go
cool.
first because I don't imagine Jack
Um,
much.
Right. Well,
Jack.
I was a critter for this one, so I got to take a
okay.
peek at it. And I think most of my criticisms were addressed. I think one that I still think doesn't work is that the final paragraph feels like it should go in containment procedures. Personally, like to prevent further disruptions to site security and efficacy, annual mandatory anti-harassment seminars and training are to be held. Like, I think that's just a good foreword. To be honest, that's it. Other than that, it's just a generally fine joke article.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, again, the anti-harassment bit is a good thing to include. Just so this isn't like, haha, she was harassed by a bunch of stuff.
Go ahead.
Like, haha, that's funny, but also, no, don't let that happen again, please.
Right?
Thank you.
No, I get that.
Yeah, I think otherwise it's fairly solid. Got an update from me.
Okay, Jackal, do you want to bring the hammer down, or do you want me to go bring the hammer down?
You can do it because I'm terrible at expressing.
Okay. So, I do not like this article. I don't. I think the initial premise is pretty funny, and I think it gets absolutely eviscerated in that final addendum where everything is explained as like I don't think it should have been an EX. I don't think it should have been explained. I think there was a certain humor and everyone just suddenly having like all of these feelings towards this character, and then suddenly like the next day they're like, what happened? I didn't even mean to do that. I think there would have been more of a premise to go with that. And I think a part of the problem too, and something that I think if you look through the discussion page you'll probably find like a consistent pattern with, is that like Jackrabbit is known amongst like amongst both the outer community and the inner site, but she's not as established as some of the other characters, like some of the actual characters, like Bright and whatever else you want to say. Even though saying Bright makes me want to puke.
Put me in the same
Gears.
category.
No, I know. I'm not putting you in that
Gears.
category, but
Gears.
Gears. There we go. But like, so you're already going off a premise where not everyone is super familiar with the character, and then I think it bounces too much on that. I think there should have been. I think the first addendum should have been greatly expanded. I think the second addendum should have been removed entirely. I think there should have been more of an initial connection to the Agent O'Hare character, which would, and then more comedy to like people just suddenly going in about this in joke from this artificial bot that makes this Valentine thing. It's supposed to be completely innocent, and then it just turned crazy. I wish there was more of a joke conclusion. I wish there was more of an end, something to joke on, something that, like, even if you don't get the initial reference, you can still read the end of it and laugh. Like, okay, that's pretty funny. Like some sort of comedic resolution, but instead it's all kind of explained as just like people were drunk, which doesn't even it doesn't feel like feasible to me personally. But I'll ramble no longer. So that's kind of my ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I take that on and sort of, I'm going to retract my vote and probably put it at a no vote for now, because I kind of actually understand those, and yeah, I think it could be a bit better. I don't know, it's just, I think the reason why it's an explained anomaly and not like something that actually happens every Valentine's Day is probably just not to fuck with someone else's AA.
I get that, but at the same time, like Jackrabbit, I guess I should reserve this for Jackrabbit, but I would say that Jackrabbit is very approachable, and I'm sure the author could have asked and could have collaborated a little bit more with Jackrabbit on this. And I think two brains might have been a little bit better, but even if that wasn't the case, I still think all my other criticisms still stand. I don't think the final aspect of it is funny. I think it kind of spins on its head and it doesn't use its premise very well.
It is very inside joke, which is not like a broadly funny thing.
Yeah.
It's specifically referencing a certain coincidental thing that happened on Twitter. So, like, again, I think I'll leave the context for Jackrabbit to explain, but it's really reliant on that now that I think about it. And it took me a bit to get past the fact that I was part of that little joke, so I was like, haha, this is funny, and updated it. And so I'm going to just retract that to a no vote, just so, like, I still have to think about this a bit before I put it up or down, but I don't know.
I honestly kind of agree with you there. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, honestly, if I had read this and I had no idea what was going on, I think it would have just come off as, like, just really meh. It is really funny with context. But I
also should probably say that also Asteria is a great author. I can't remember the exact article that she wrote. I'll pull it up real quick.
I was going to say,
this is not a critique of the author. This is like, I will say that the first half of this article is pretty funny. It's a pretty funny premise, and then I just think it completely rescinds that by the very end.
6113, that's the article.
That's the one. I was just about to say, 6113.
Fucking legendary article. It's so great.
Which one is it?
6113.
It is 6113.
Temporary Reflections.
Temporary Reflections. It is this amazing character piece, and genuinely one of the best pieces I've read on the wiki. It's so good. I genuinely love it. It's such a great article, and I'm so happy it exists. But like taking that into account, I think that, like, again, I know this was thrown together in a couple of hours, but I think it should be reworked and sort of repurposed as and bettered. I know it was like hastily made to sort of make sense with what time of the year it was and all that, but I definitely would like by next Valentine's if this could be just reworked a little bit. No vote for now.
I'd go a step farther and say the initial writing, like the initial tonnage, the initial just the initial like clinical tone is actually pretty good for someone. It's impressive, really. Like, especially for something that came for just a few hours. Like, people who would try to write an SCP document knows that trying to think of like a way of presenting things in a cold-hearted clinical tone is extremely difficult. It's even more difficult when you're on a time crunch. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Anyway, Jackrabbit.
Oh yeah, go on, tell us more.
No worries. JackalRelated, did you get a chance to say what you thought?
Oh. I mean, it was pretty much the same. I think when I read the first time, I actually downvoted it only because on the basis of this is like the cousin to thing that does a thing syndrome, which I like to call a thing that happened syndrome, which it's becoming more prevalent, I think, ever since SCPD was a thing, where it's just like it's definitely like a reference to like a certain thing that happened, most of the time I usually don't quite like them because it revolves on a lot of the in joke of like having been there or like at least mildly knowing what happened. Because at least personally, I do believe that like even for Tale series and SCP series that every piece should work standalone without any context, even if it's again like mid series, like for Ralston's that 120 series or those. And I've at least the first time I read it, like it was a problem that I got sicked on back when I was in UB to this website in 2017, where it's very competently written, but like in the end, it's not like a lot of not content per se, because it's definitely content. Like there's definitely effort, and I don't want to marginalize any of that. It's just in the end, for someone who like wouldn't know any of it, just coming in fresh, it like they're like, okay, cool, and
Doesn't
type deal.
work.
Yeah, it's it's
I would
like
also like to include before we move on here, but like having things like having like an article just be something that happens can work, and it has
yeah,
worked,
definitely.
but it needs more of a reliance on the context of the article, and not a reliance on a reference of something that happened on Twitter. Like you
Yeah,
have to,
like,
you have to set that premise that the reader understands. So like for example, like making a log of like what happened before, like what happened during this event, would help kind of cement that and make it more dependent on itself, dependent on the context that it has over the context that Twitter has.
Yeah, or like even though it's different press, but for example, like the Tanhoni's articles about Among Us, like even the first one, which everyone like it was very contentious. Everyone was like debating it. It's like even if you know little to nothing about Among Us, it still holds up without knowing, having to know. Yeah, it's like it holds up without having to know the original incident or any context behind it. But 721EX kind of falls flat if you know nothing about Jackrabbit or and you're linked to a Twitter account in the middle of your article, especially. It's like I'm not against cross-linking, but I do think not outside the site. How do I put it? Non-internal cross-links, especially for context purposes, can be really like jarring to see.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Because not every SCP reader is going to be part of the glowing flesh monster that is SCP Twitter.
yeah. So it's just it was just a matter of just like it was just those things bundled up. It's like again, I don't think it's badly written. I just think it doesn't work as well because it's too reliant on the context of the incident that happened.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now here comes the real meat and potatoes, which is Jackrabbit here.
Well, let me go ahead and tell to anybody listening who doesn't know what inspired this article. So I am terminally online. I am constantly on Twitter. Well, the reason that I'm so constantly on SCP Twitter is because I do all of my voice recording and video recording and video editing, and pretty much everything that I do and I create is on my phone. So every single break that I have in between any of that, I'm on Twitter. And so between being very lucky to amass the very sudden large following that I have on SCP Twitter and also interacting with everybody as much as I do on SCP Twitter in between my breaks, basically this Who's Your Valentine like automated quiz popped up on the day on Valentine's Day, and everybody was getting me as the result. You know, I think a combination between me having a larger following and also just being so active, like the algorithm was like her, like yeah, her. And it started out as just this really funny. It was really funny when it first started out. It was absolutely hilarious. So I want to continue by saying that this author had my full blessing and communicated with me all day about this. They actually did. She did. She and I first became acquaintances a couple months ago when she had an article that got downvoted off the wiki. and her confidence was not in a great place. And, she was just kind of really struggling with that. And I hated seeing that because I was familiar with more of her work, and I'm like, well, you're brilliant. Like, I hate seeing that, like, something like that made you feel like you can't keep doing this. Like, we love you, And so when this joke started happening on Valentine's Day, she made a post about, like, oh my God, what if this was like, what if this was an SCP? And I was like, oh my God, like, if you have an idea, do it, make it happen. That would be so funny. And so she, like, started kind of shopping around the draft for some crit and stuff. And I ended up introducing her to a lot of my friends that she hadn't met before. A completely, like, different group of SCP authors and content creators. And we were just having genuinely a really good day. We were having a lot of fun, just joking about just the ridiculousness of the community, having a laugh at the expense of ourselves and, numbers and all these different figures and everything. I gave her permission to use one of my pictures and everything. And I was like, look, like, I was like, I trust you. She was getting crit and editing through, other people. I'm not great at giving crit. And so I was just like, just have fun with it. Just have fun with it and just have a good day. Because Valentine's Day can be really lonely and frustrating for a lot of people. And all of us were there together this day, just having a lot of fun together. And I loved feeling that, and I loved being a part of it. And I think this article is funny. I think the criticisms are valid because, again, it came together very quickly. It was like trying to, like, oh my gosh, let's get this out here today. Because, like, this joke doesn't have legs, it's like this really can only be like a flash in the pan type of joke. And maybe it should have been a -J. Maybe, I don't know. It's not my article. It was ultimately up to, the author to decide how to classify it. I like that she didn't choose to have it be a -J. I kind of, maybe it should have been because it had to get rushed and because it was so imperfect, you could kind of like gloss over, I guess, quote unquote, those imperfections by just having it be a joke article. I think you do open yourself up to more valid criticism when you don't make it a joke. So that's, interesting. So here's the thing that happened, which gives me sad and kind of just frustrated feelings about it, I guess, is what happened when it was uploaded. I'm glad that it survived, especially considering that I pushed this person who was struggling with their confidence to, publish something when they were nervous to. When you see what happened to it, I'm really grateful that it survived. It was kind of it was a bit of a bummer to see, like, certain people in the discussion write how much they didn't like this "it's not that deep" joke for paragraphs that were almost as long as the article, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I get it, like, she's an amazing author, so maybe when you see that this author posted something new, you open this up and you see my fucking face right there, you're like, oh great. You know what I mean? Like, I'm picturing, you're just like, like, this author uploaded this, and oh god, I can't even escape this bitch here. Are you serious? Like, I understand. Like, I felt really bad. I at the time that this was uploaded, I had already been really struggling with a lot of feelings as a brand new SCP author. About my own article, because for those of you who know, the circumstances I wrote my article under were not my normal creative process. I kind of fell on my sword a bit to, like, try and create an example for new people trying to learn how to write things. And I felt I was really messed up about it afterwards. Like, it was just, I don't know. I felt like I'd kind of thrown myself out there to the wolves in something that didn't really represent me. And I watched it get praised in some places, but also ripped apart in ways that really hurt my feelings. And I was just like, man, I'm just trying to help. And then this happened, and I was like, man, I'm just trying to help. And I really felt like I kind of fucked up, where I was just like, I really felt bad about it, to see how it just went up and down, where I'm just like, good God, you could just no vote or no comment and move on.
Well, yeah,
it was really frustrating, but I ultimately, I tried to get really involved in the discussion as much as I could, I guess, to try and redirect any ire about this article onto me. My face is there, and I'm just like, let's just, I tried to redirect as much as I could onto me with that. And ultimately, I'm just really glad that Asteria, she made a lot of new friends. She started rewriting some articles, and it kind of got that spark back. If anything from this whole experience, and I don't know if this is making it more understandable why I was like, this article, oh God. I've learned that I need to stop doing this. I need to stop throwing myself out there as material on the wiki just to accomplish something vague. I don't know. I'm ready to just kind of, I guess, try and be a source of positivity best I can elsewhere, and I want to try and just, I don't know. I felt bad about this. I felt bad about what happened about it, and like I said, I'm glad it survived. But yeah, ultimately something that was supposed to be fun and happy kind of, I don't know, turned out a bummer. So there we go. That's SCP-721-EX.
Christ.
Yay!
Jesus.
Before we
Okay,
before
I
we
totally-
end things, I just want to ask Mockery if you could record yourself reading that project proposal again. I just want to save it because it was such a good performance. Actually, you know what? I'll just wait until the end.
Let's focus on the good parts of this episode.
I'll just wait
Yeah,
for.
no,
I'll
just
totally
wait for
release that
episode.
separately, honestly. That was
Yeah,
really good.
that
That
was
deserves
really
its own
good.
video.
I'll. You know what? Don't release it. I will. You know what? Maybe I might give it a read in the future.
I was gonna say I would love that. I would listen to that on repeat while I'm going to sleep and just have horrible
Yeah.
nightmares.
Brilliant. You could do a whole video on project proposals. That'd be awesome.
That would be fun.
That would be kind of fun. Yeah, I'll think about it. I will give it some thought. I have an editor lined up, so I better not waste any more of his time. And I have a nice little intro as well
Ooh.
that I got
cool.
from an editor friend.
Ooh,
Nice.
spicy.
So yeah,
I also
Fun.
want to say, though, I don't think we should completely move on. I completely
Oh, yeah.
understand what you're saying, though, Jackrabbit. That's fair.
It is what it is.
At least
Tis what
was
it
fun
is.
while it lasted.
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say, Asteria, if you're listening to this, I really like your work, and I think I'm 90% sure I have invited you to this podcast, so I'd really love to talk to you about your others.
Yeah, you did an
We like you a
amazing
lot.
job, and anything that happened with this, I really truly believe was a reflection on me and not on you. So I'm glad that you wrote it, and I had fun, and it was a good day, and I wouldn't change that. So
I think this article is just such a fun sort of thing that I don't think Asteria is going to take criticisms to heart with this, especially considering
No.
it's certainly not representative of her best work.
Oh, yeah.
no, I do not think that it needs to be touched. I don't think that it needs to be changed. Even if it was just a thing that happened, it was a thing that happened. It was one of the best Valentine's days that I've had in a long time. I had a lot of fun, and that's all that matters. So.
Yeah, I also think oh, great! Exactly what I was about to say. Just left my mind and left me blank. Never mind.
I will
It was
say,
fun. It was fun, and I
screw
think
me.
we can. It was fun, and I think we can just kind of just leave it, And I look forward to seeing what she continues to write
I
because
tend to
in
agree.
her style, I think
Fair
it
enough.
can just kind of be left.
I think the writing in general, the writing, the skill in writing, really shines through very well now.
Especially that
Yeah.
first
You know?
half. That's all her, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I would even say that it doesn't even have to end on a joke, but the only thing I'd ever say, final thing I'd have to say is it just needs a better conclusion than kind of a cheap explanation. That would be my if anything else would be my sole argument would be that the
Also, it's highly unrealistic that I would actually barricade myself and not stay in the hallway and accept the attention.
give me love.
like that. Yeah, you know what? Actually, Asteria, if you are listening, this is my harsh critique. I would stand there in the center of that hallway, and I would accept all of that attention 24/7.
New group of interest generated by Agent Jackrabbit.
Yeah, that's what really pulled me out of this. So, all right, that's my 2 cents.
Wait, so that could turn into a whole other SCP that Jackrabbit actually made in universe to get this attention.
Right? Then we have this whole Inception thing going on. We just need to step back and think about stuff again.
There you go. Yeah, I planted the vodka chocolates, and I was like, it was those. It was totally those. That's it.
It was them.
Oh my gosh, it's just gonna go so deep. But anyways, yeah. No, thank you for picking this one, Shaun. Like I know it got like a little weird, but like I'm glad that I got a chance to at least like explain like, hey, like this was all meant to be like in good fun. And I totally. I understand people's feedback and why it like frustrated or upset some people at the same time. But yeah, I hope that it just kind of can just sit here as a weird piece of history and we can just move on.
I do want to say, I know we like sat there in like silence there for a second because we weren't exactly sure how to respond.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay. I'm very happy you were able to talk about this. Truly, it's really interesting to hear your thoughts on it. And like, it's also, I think a lot of other people are going to listen to this and find out about a lot of stuff that's going on. And maybe some other writers on there, even like I think getting critique of articles on this podcast is great because other authors listen to this, you know? I think it's perfect. I'm happy you came on and talked about this.
Yeah, well, it's been a good learning experience for me because I'm still very much brand new to on-site. And, you know, I think I've talked about this with you, Shaun, and Nikki, and I did last episode where like, gosh, I just want everyone to know that my heart's in the right place. And I might not always do everything correctly and I might fuck up, you know, but like I love SCP and I love the authors and I love the site and I want to have everybody have a good time.
100%.
And I know that's like Disney princess starry-eyed, not like completely realistic all the time. So yeah, anyways, I digress. Thanks for letting me talk about this one. More positive than negative experience, but just like it got complicated.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for being willing to talk about it, by the way, because it was totally my suggestion. I was just like, oh, this one has Jackrabbit in it. Let's read this one. That'd be funny. But that's very interesting to hear. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to start wrapping up this. I don't even know how long this could possibly be because I had to run to the university
2 hours
in the middle of it.
48 minutes.
Oh my god, this is going to be the longest episode of SCP Authors Anomalous by a lot.
But we also got so much more content. We got like twice the content here. So.
Exactly. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Twice the people, twice the content.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's like
Twice the people,
3
twice the
episodes
content,
worth of Jack Council content.
Yeah.
Hello, people in the premiere squad watching this. I don't know how you managed to make it this far. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
you saved
quick.
the best for last.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh my god, I'm still winded from running, by the way, and I've been sitting here for an hour. I want to say that. That's actually a bad thing, isn't it?
I don't know. It's really up to how you feel about it.
I sprinted. Okay. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you, Jax, for coming on. It was really great to have you guys.
It was our pleasure.
Honestly, like, this is really experimental. Having 4 people on all at once, like, a super experimental idea. I had no idea how this would actually work, but the result was great. This was really fun and really funny. I'm definitely doing this again in the future.
And they all have the same name, too.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect. I'm trying to do more guests. Yeah. I'm trying to do more like. I'm going to talk about the podcast just briefly here before the conclusion. I'm trying to change these episodes to be more or less less. I choose 2 random authors and put them in a room together, and more. I choose 2 authors who have something in common that can shine through the articles. Maybe I don't know if all having the same name is necessarily a good example of that, but it worked out here pretty well, I think. So this is just a showing of the kind of thing I want to do in the future. I want there to be some
You're doing amazing, Shaun.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think we all really, really love you. Seriously, you're doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
I appreciate that immensely. It makes me very happy. This community has been very, very nice.
You're a wonderful little bean, Shaun. Well done.
Oh, a good bean.
You're a wonderful little bean.
Please say that more Australian.
He's gonna put you on toast.
I just gotta say, Shaun, you are a wonderful little bean, and
I'm making that my ringtone.
I genuinely can't wait to see what more stuff you put out this year, and for the next year, and for the rest of your life, because this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. You're going to be doing the SCP show, the SCP Authors Anomalous, and you have no control over this decision. I'm making it for you. So you better get to work. You better get a list up, Shaun, because
oh my god,
I expect
after for the rest of my life.
After this one premieres, I'm going to expect the list on my desk Sunday morning.
A fate worse than death, speaking to SCP authors.
You never go outside. You just stuck
Worse than
permanently
death,
indoors.
listening to Australian SCP authors.
Oh no.
You can never ever touch grass ever again.
Oh god.
You're never
I'm
touching grass again, Shaun.
my skin is going to turn pale and old. About to
There's
be
a
looking
clump
like
of
Jax.
grass on my. There's a fern on my desk. I touch it just so I remember what grass feels like.
It's dying. It's dying. I haven't gotten water for it in a long time.
In a long time.
Okay.
Done, Jack Cancel. And hey, can I just say thank you to Jak Mockery and the artist is Bianca, right? Who
Yeah,
created...
Bianca.
Yeah, we'll have
No, Bianca.
No, Bianca. We'll send you the artwork if you have or haven't seen it, Shaun. That
Oh, I have.
really
You sent it to me.
Yeah, that's right. That really brought the four of us together. And it's been such a delight to actually have that happen.
Yeah.
First of all, yeah, thank you for commissioning that, Jak Mockery, and thank you to you, No Bianca.
Absolutely
We
fine.
love you so much, honey.
We love you, no, Bianca. I also want to give a special mention to the poor Jack who got left behind, Jak Waltz, who has been
Oh, Jak Waltz.
a merciless advocate for the Jack Council.
Has
More
never been a part
passionate.
of it.
More passionate than anyone should be for such an offhand joke.
Wait,
and
what? I
wish
didn't know there was another one?
There's
Jack
more.
Waltz.
Technically-
I'm so sorry, Jack Waltz.
No, Jak Waltz wasn't in the artwork because it was based on a Twitter tier list meme that I made, where I basically said, finally, the ideal tier list where we were all in the top tier that just said has Jack in their name, and everyone was just trash. Jak Waltz wasn't on the tier list, and after the Jack Council became a big meme and it found its way into SCP Declassified, poor Jak Waltz is just like, what the fuck? Why am I not on this council?
Well, hey, listen.
So I've just sort of honorarily named him the secretary of the Jack Council. He's our facilitator.
Listen here, Jak Waltz, especially because, I was just on Shaun's podcast, got to read my article, was just on again, and read somebody else's article about me. I am going to go to war for you, sweetie. I'm going to, I'm going to uplift you. You are going to, be the king of the Jacks after this. That is my mission. We love you. Thank you for being... You're a good Jack.
Yeah, you're a great Jack. You're a great Jack. And also shout out to the rest of the Jacks we've left out somewhere.
That's a lot.
Thank you,
many
Jacks
of
out
you.
there, all of you. And
There's
Jak Waltz,
so
I'm so
many.
sorry. We will be, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know there was another Jack. I think we have to re-record this
so many.
episode, so we're going to throw out this recording and do this again with Jak
I
Waltz.
think Jack Ike was the OG, the proto Jack that we
the proto Jack.
Oh, Jack.
You know what? The follow-up episode for the Jack Council podcast is
There has to be
Jak
another
Ike
Jack
and
Council.
Jak Waltz.
There you go.
I got Ike and Waltz in there.
There you go. You're welcome, Sean. I've given you an idea.
Great.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That should make
plenty
the
of
list a
Jacks
little
to choose
easier.
from you. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna do. So this is episode 8, right? Every
Yeah.
8th episode, every multiples of 8, 16, then 24, 36, so on. That's not correct.
Math.
It'll be the Jack Council, but I'll add 2 more Jacks.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that'd be interesting. Except for I think
Not
we
actually.
run
That's
out.
a horrible idea. That's a
We
bad
really
idea.
run out. Oh, wait,
A
we run
revolving
out after
door of
16.
Jack Council episodes. That'd be funny if we just had 4 on every week.
Oh my
instead of
God.
Revolving
Seriously, we'd
format.
run out. I think there's
Yeah.
6 or 8 max.
Fantastic.
I'm sure there's more in the bowels
we'll
of
find more.
SCP.
I'll make more. I'll convince people to start writing articles and make their username Jack
There you
something.
go.
I'm going to change the fucking name to Jack now. God damn it. What are we doing?
Don't you want to be on the podcast?
Let me message Dr. Gears to see if he can still change his username.
Dr. Jack Gears.
We don't have any proof that it isn't Dr. Jack Gears. Theoretically.
True.
Thankfully.
Anyway,
All right, you guys.
But there's some foreshadowing. We should stop. We have been doing this for over 3 hours, by the way.
Way to go, team. Oh my god.
2:30. It is 5:46. Let's be done. I'm tired.
Yeah,
It's-
my
it's a bit
recording's
worse
done.
for me.
Watching. We love you.
All right, bye,
Not by our
guys.
social link.
Turtle
well,
Oh,
gamers.
Oh
Take
wait,
care.
wait. You guys want to plug your stuff?
Oh, shit.
Did you end your recording?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good. Real quickly, JackalRelated. Plug you.
SCP 5420, please.
Wonderful. Jackrabbit.
Pay attention to me on SCP Twitter because we're going to be launching a TV show soon and the news will be on there. Okay.
Link in the description. Jak Mockery.
Hey.
SCP-5048, SCP-5478. Monitor my Twitter for any either new readings, wink wink, or any new pieces I post, because I am currently writing about 3 fucking drafts. I'll finish one someday. Anyway.
Brilliant. Links in the description. Jack Dragon.
SCP either 643 or SCP-4938.
Brilliant. Shaun Saxum. I have a Patreon. Go support it. I also have a Twitter. SCP-6443. That's my one article. I'm working on another one right now, and it's going to be very, very good.
You wrote
Bye-bye, everybody.
I have a Ko-Fi.
Take care, everyone. Fare thee well.
Goodbye.
And remember.
Catch you later, you cadets.
And remember, don't eat things off the ground.
And as they
Don't tell me
say
what to do.
in France, adieu.
I disagree. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Okay, end your recordings. Oh, my God.
End it.
I'm going to fall over.
Finally.